Right. Just make do then. Hello one and all and welcome to the final of the LRNC Championship run by QleenVigor Racing. We are here for the final. 15 teams have fallen in the first two rounds, 5 still remaining. You'll be seeing those 5 teams go to war here for the conclusion to this series. I am joined in the commentary box by Mr. Ivor Bryn Mike. You've also been covering quite a lot of the tourney yourself. How are you doing, man? You looking forward to this?
I'm doing great, mate. I'm really looking forward to this. These nations have really, stepped up and now they proved that they're the best of the best, and now we're in the final round. It's time to see who is really the best of the best.
Indeed. So we have our final 5 teams here ready to do battle. We have 2 teams from the Netherlands, including a team from England, which I believe has only been able to field 2 drivers for this race, unfortunately, and with them being arguably the favourites going into this, it does blow everything wide open, as anyone can definitely take it. We also have a team from Lithuania backed up by Malaysia, and we also have a French team to make up the 5 that will duel it out for the title. So we're going to see how the 18 drivers on the line today stack up. Going to start off then looking at the first car on the lap, which I think is going to be Mr. Lewis Welsh, who has dominated a lot of the races that he's taken part in. So we'll see how the Englishman is able to get on there going through the first chicane to start this quali session.
Yeah, and as you say, Lewis really dominating in all the races he's been in so far, but with England down 2 drivers, it's going to make it very difficult for him moving on from here.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, Lewis is backed off at that hot lap he was on, and that's M&T Eltink who's going in front of him there, representing the French nation. We'll see how that man spotting... I believe... my mistake, actually. I think he's actually in the Dutch team, so I apologise. It's Justice Ass, representing Lithuania. He's out the session, and I'm not exactly sure how that's gone down. I think... Was it down to going the wrong way? I think that's very odd, and yeah, completely out of things, and that's going to be a huge setback for the Lithuanians. So looks like that's going to really hold them back. And as Nolan goes first with an 18.6, pretty good lap to top things off. But yeah, we already have a disqualification for Lithuania, and of course we do have 2 races tonight. But with points being awarded down to 15th place, every driver needs to be picking up points, and that's not the start that they would have wanted.
No, not at all, especially at this late stage, as I was just on board with Blizzard as he invalidates in a Ascari there, so a good start there for CRG, Blizzard and the English lads, but yeah, not the start that Just As would have wanted.
Yeah, quite a bizarre one, as Lordy has got into the session. I think he's an English driver, so that's one that they've got back, but he won't be able to qualify for this first race of 2, so that's going to hold them back quite a fair bit there, as Flaky comes up to the line, the Malaysian driver from the Lithuanian team, and he goes at P7 then, maybe not quite the lap he was hoping for. Looking to see drivers on the lap there. I've located LRT Thomas in that Red Bull, also driving for Lithuania. Has seen one of his teammates go out of proceedings just at the first few minutes in this session, so he's got to try and make up for it, get Lithuania up the top of the timesheets. We'll see if he's able to get on there, as more times flying in as well. I believe that was Max who just come over the line, or Skyzy. Of course, got a number of drivers representing the Dutchmen, representing the Netherlands. They're up there, as Thomas goes P2 then, in a close second to Nolan Lambert, who still sits at the top. So France looking good, and ultimately we've got quite a few teams that are getting up there near the top of the timesheet. So we're seeing just how competitive this series has been. We've got a lot of teams that could win this, especially with England down a driver. So Yeah, it's been blown wide open, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing who's going to come out on top here.
Yep, 100%. As I'm just on board with the McLaren of GM as he crosses the line. He does improve, but only by 4 tenths, which doesn't really improve his position.
Yeah, he's got to potentially try and move up a little bit further with that. Ash Best, his teammate, is flying on a lap. They're going into the Lesmo corners then. Takes the first one in 4th gear, revs it out on the exit, running on to the outside curve. Takes the second one in 4th gear as well. Got to be careful with the traction on exit. The car can get away from you, but he's able to hold that one together. Now the Lithuanian on the slight uphill climb into the Ascari chicane, hits the curb on the inside there, runs it over the curb on the outside as well, and flies over the exit nearly flat out. Now expending as much power as he can get from that McLaren. We'll see where he ends up. Onto the brakes, into the fantastic parabolic corner, puts into 3rd gear very quickly to rotate the car, runs out onto the outside of the final turn. We'll see where he goes. There it is, P5 for the time being, becoming the 5th driver into the 18s. Competitive stuff up near at the top of the field. And yeah, trying to back up that Lithuanian clean. At the moment though, we do have, you have to look at the teams that get more drivers up near the front, and currently you have 3 you have 3 Dutch drivers in the top 6, so they're looking very, very, very strong. As a, well, actually, sorry, in the top 7, I believe someone has just improved. I think that was Zach as well. So now you have 2 French drivers up in the top 3. So that's very looking very good for them. So France, maybe looking to stake their claim on this championship. Then they've only barely scraped through the group stages, but now they're here and they're showing some very high caliber performance. There are 2 drivers in the top 3, and the other teams need to step up to that. There, France looking good at the moment.
Yep, France looking like they're on top form. I'm interested to see what Lewis and Blizzard, what they're going to do now when they go out and set their times, because not having a time on the board at this point can be a little bit unnerving.
Well, now they're going to look to try and sort that out, because Lewis Welsh is on a flyer now. Let's track the Englishman and his progress here. England have had a pretty disastrous start to proceedings in this competition, so they need to get themselves up there. I think Lewis, though, he's already backed off that lap because he's turned the CRS down, so that's twice I've seen him. He's not invalid and he's backing off those laps, so he's really trying to be a perfectionist about things. But of course, there's only so many laps you can do in a session, and eventually, you know, it could catch him out. You know, if he keeps backing out of laps just because he makes a small mistake, it could cost him dear. And you know, England may have a real mountain to climb after this quali session.
Yeah, 100%, and I'm starting to wonder whether he was just put off slightly by XL Dan, who just recently came out of the pits and was getting out of the way of him on the exit of turn 2. I'm just wondering if that was the reason he backed out.
It could have been, but it didn't look like he lost too much time from that encounter, so it's pretty odd, it must be said there. LRT Max, I've just tracked there, the Frenchman, going about his time. Currently all 4 French drivers are within the top 10, which is what you want to see for them, and at the moment they're looking very, very strong. So we'll see how Max is able to shape up as he comes up to the line then to close off his flying lap. Improves very slightly to a 19.2, but ultimately doesn't move him up, so he remains in P9 just for the time being. Tim Ventink I've also located there. He is on a flyer coming up to the line now. He's had great performances through the group stages, and he puts the Netherlands up there. That's 2 Dutch drivers inside the top 5 as well, so they're staking a claim towards the top of the standings. We have 2 different Netherlands teams, so you got to keep track of that as well. The Williams and the Haas drivers are representing the Netherlands 2, and the Netherlands 1 team is represented by the Renault and the... Sorry, I think I may have got it confused. Is represented by the Renault and also the Haas drivers. Okay, I'm just going to give up on that. That was a bit of a disaster.
Right now we got Lewis, who's just come out of a Ascari. He's going to get a bit of slipstream on the run down into Parabolica. And that will help this time as he comes down into the braking zone, into Parabolica, into 4th gear, straight up into 5th, and to the line he'll come. What's this going to be from Lewis? And it is an 18.4, puts him on provisional pole position, and that's what he needed.
Oh, and he's almost topped immediately by Eltink and Thomas. They both also went on 18.4s, so it's very competitive up at the top of the field. And that's 3 drivers that have just taken shots at the top time that was originally set by Nolan. No more that time is, and now we have 3 drivers in the 18.4s looking very, very strong. Blizzard also representing England, maybe trying to get them a little bit further out the timesheets. Blizzard to the line, and it's pulled by a huge margin by Monza standards, an 18.172, pulled by well over 0.2 of a second. Now it's an England 1-2, and they're looking a little bit more competitive. But yeah, that is a huge lap from Blizzard. Gonna take some beating, even from his teammate Lewis, but that's really helped England's chances there. 2 drivers up in the top 2, and can they hold on to that there? Blizzard, that is sensational. What a lap.
Yeah, fantastic lap from both Blizzard and Lewis, and perfect timing really, because if they weren't able to get a lap on the board right now, they would have been under some serious pressure. So it's good that they got that on the board now, and they can only go forward from here.
Yeah, it takes a bit of a metaphorical weight off their shoulders there, getting into that 1-2 position. Now they can try and let loose there. We'll see, of course, we've still got a lot of quick drivers that are capable of potentially besting those marks there, or at least getting competitive with them. So we're just going to have to wait and see how everything shapes up. As I'm just looking to see someone that's on a flying lap potentially.
Nolan is, he's just coming into the second chicane into the Lesmos now. He is up on his first sector time by over a tenth, so if he can keep this up, he could be within a shout of climbing up a couple of positions.
He's got to try to hang that car out on the edge. Monza is a confidence track. You need to try and take a lot of apex speed through the corners and use the full width of the track, but of course it can all go wrong, and it may have just slightly for Nolan as he invalidates on the first part of this car chicane and almost lose it into the wall on the exit. That's going to hold his lap back, unfortunately. So looking for someone else. I believe Ash Best. No, he's not on a lap there. He's just let Kumbly through, who's also not on lap. So it's a bit of a quiet point in this qualifying session for the time being, as a lot of drivers are in the pits and preparing for their final runs out on track, as opposed to trying to set times right now. But of course, near the end of the session, you will see an explosion of lap times, and yeah, everyone is going to really go at it, and we are going to see who is able to produce the goods at the critical moment of this session. Don't go anywhere, because we've got 4.5 minutes of some great action coming up. Who will take pole in this session? What teams will get more drivers at the front?
We got Cohen now, who's just started his flying lap into the first chicane. Very neat on the exit there. It's exactly what you want as well on the exit of the first chicane. Very easy to wheel spin it up and lose a lot of time on traction. Now
into the Della Roggia chicane there, hitting that curb on the inside, running out onto the outside curb. As I mentioned, Monza is all about using the full width of the track, and that's certainly true to these Lesmo corners there. So the first one is pretty conservative but nice and clean. He's taking all the right lines through the corners there. No real error on this lap so far, and in fact it's saying he's on an out lap, but I don't believe he is, because he's on the overtake mode and pushing, so maybe that's a bit of a graphical glitch. We'll keep track of him anyway there. Very attacking through a scar. He gets a bit of crossed up on the exit, just about holds that car together there and keeps it on the road. Now into the Parabolica corner there. He turns down his ERS a little bit there and is probably going to put it back up on the exit, coming up to the line. I think he's actually going to back out of it, so he must have been down on his time. So yeah, not quite able to maximize it there. Tim Benting, another Dutchman, he is starting off things, and of course his Dutch team hasn't had the best of luck. They're actually all 8th through 11th. All 4 of those guys from the second Netherlands team. all looking solid, but ultimately not quite up the front. You can see these slipstream tactics there with LRC. He's going to give him a nice tow up towards Del Roggia, and that's going to propel him along there and keep him going on that lap. So we'll see if he's able to go through it there. I'll go back to you to keep this going there. Out of Del Roggia, can he get himself further up the grid? Currently sitting 9th. Can he make some ground here for the Netherlands too? Gets hugely out of shape through Lesmo 1 and has to back off that one, I'm pretty sure. So it is still relatively quiet. I've seen Thomas is starting a lap, so I'll go over to you, Mike, if you want to take us through this lap from the Red Bull there. See, he's currently sits 4th at the moment there. Can he get any higher in this flying lap?
Here he comes. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead of Ash Best, who's getting just a little bit of slipstream there, and that might have helped, but I don't think it would have made a huge amount of difference with how little slipstream he had there. But into the second chicane, taking quite a bit of curve there as he comes into the first. Lesmo's looking to keep the momentum going through, trying to carry that speed. Does very well there into the second Lesmo. As he gets a little bit out of shape on the exit, but able to keep it all together as he's on the run down now to the second sector split. Where is he in terms of his previous best? He is just under a 10th down as he comes through Ascari, and very out of shape there. I'm not sure whether he would have invalidated that. On my screen it says he hasn't, but he comes into Parabolica now, looking for a nice exit, and we shall see if he is going to improve. And yeah, he does, but only just. It's
invalid though. So yeah, as Nolan has gone slightly quicker, but not quite quick enough. That time would have put him in second, just in front of Lewis, but yeah, ultimately, yeah, it was indeed invalid. It showed on my screen, but not on yours, which is quite strange. So I'm not sure what was going on there with the graphics, but yeah, we'll move on. It's got a lot of drivers now starting their final flying laps, and yeah, this is the business end, and of course, qualifying can be quite important at Monza. If these teams are allowed to get, or able to get a lot of drivers up at the front, they can work together out on track and really help each other along. So we'll see who's going to come out on top. Currently England hold the first 2 spots, so if Blizzard and Lewis are able to hold on to that, it puts them in great stead for the race and of course the whole championship standings. So qualifying so important, and Blizzard and Lewis, can they hold those top 2 places? It cannot underestimate how important that is.
Yeah, as we got Fruitful coming to the line now around Parabolica. Is this going to be an improvement from Fruitful? It is by 3 counts. It gets him up in the 10th place.
So not a bad lap. Yeah, not a bad lap at all. There's still more drivers to cross the line there. Elton coming up to the line and does not improve. He's 2/10 down on his time, and that, you know, things are so close. Even an incremental improvement can lead to, you know, a huge increase in your position there. It was Ash Best second, yeah. So he splits that English formation up at the front. They were waiting to see it. Lewis, as I say that, immediately goes 100th of a second quicker. Blizzard holding on to pole for the moment there. Zach is getting a nice slipstream, and watching him in behind there, going round Parabolica. Where will he end up? I think Blizzard is coming up to the line. He doesn't improve, but here comes Zach now to the line, and he goes a little bit quicker there. Goes up at a P6. Sam behind him's backed off. Skyzy has gone into the pit, so I think that's going to end things for this qualifying session. So it looks like I don't think we've got any more drivers to set time, so that's going to be it. And they do get 1-2, and because England down on numbers, they need to get all the points to get, and that's a good start for them. Getting those top 2 slots in qualifying puts them in a great position for the race.
Yeah, fantastic job from both Blizzard and Lewis there. Blizzard doing what he needed to do on his first flying lap, and no one was able to touch it.
Indeed, yeah. Highly impressive from the Englishman. And of course, the third driver, Lorde, we'll see how he's able to progress through the race, this first race, and we'll see if he can rack up the points as well to back up the performances of Blizzard and Lewis in this quali session. But yeah, very impressive stuff there. Looks like all of the teams pretty much have representation within the top 6 or 7 So it's very, very close, very, very competitive, but it is England who take that one too. And apart from that, it doesn't seem like much. It doesn't seem like there's going to be one team that's got a huge advantage over the rest. They're very close to qualifying session. I'll leave you to run through it.
Pardon, what did you say?
I'm saying I'll leave you to run through the results.
So we got Blizzard on pole with a 118.1, a tenth and a half ahead of his fellow Englishman Lewis in second. It's an England front row lockout. Ash Besker in third. And I think, I mean, names are not really my specialty, but we'll try. Thomas in fifth, Zach in sixth, Sem in seventh, Nolan in eighth, Bijon in ninth, as I ran out of time.
That's fine. Of course, as for those guys in the top 10, of course they will they'll be forced to start on their qualifying compound of tyres, and of course the guys outside the top 10 will have free choice of tyres. But I do believe at Monza it's a relatively easy soft to medium strategy, or vice versa. So there's not much variation unless you get damage on the first lap. In that case, you can, adjust things from there. But yeah, because Monza is so simple in terms of its strategy, I don't think you'll be seeing the cars outside the top 10 gaining a massive advantage. Of course, we'll have to see how it gets on, but I don't think it's going to favour them too much.
Nah, it's a relatively simple track in terms of strategy. Probably the main thing that we'll probably have to look out for is people trying the undercut versus the overcut.
Indeed, yeah. Of course, that could play a big role, especially with the teams as well, how they're going to coordinate that one. Particularly, you've got Blizzard and Lewis, they're English, very close together. I mentioned the Netherlands too, guys, were also right up there with each other. So, yeah, that's going to be one thing to watch out for, and these teams are going to have to keep their communications up throughout the event, all the way from the starting line, the red lights going out at Italy, to the checkered flag in Australia. These guys have all got to be on alert and making sure they know what all their teammates are doing. Let's have a look at the strategies outside the top 10. Most of them have opted for the medium tyres there, with Kumblai and Flaky. They've gone for a little bit of a different flavour. They're both on the softs, running a more traditional strategy, but all the others, they've got the medium tyres on, so they'll be looking to try and take advantage of that, stay out a bit longer in the race, and charge maybe further up the grid towards the end. So of course their strategy depends on not getting damage on lap 1, but if they're able to do that, they're in a good position for the back end of the race.
Yeah, as long as they can make it through the first couple of laps without any serious damage, it should be looking pretty good towards the end of the race, and every point matters, so really damage would be absolutely horrendous for this track at this point in the competition.
Every point counts, and these drivers have to be going in with that sort of mentality ahead of the two races that will be treated to the final. The first and the second will be at Albert Park in Australia. Let's have a look and see how everything shapes up. Blizzard brings the field round then to the starting grid, and of course this is where the tensions are at an all-time high. These drivers full of adrenaline, ready to go, ready to race. How will it all unfold? We'll have two surely action-packed races ahead for you guys, and we'll see which team will be crowned champion after 2 hours of racing. Blizzard takes them round to the front of the grid as the last of the cars settle now. We're seconds away, ladies and gentlemen, for the opener and the final of the LRNC. We've seen 15 teams fall. These 5 teams remain. 5 lights! And we're away for the first race of the final there. Blizzard gets away from the line nicely there with Lewis in behind there. Eltic gets a very nice start there. He's going to pull out just in front of Ash Best to the outside of Lewis towards the first corner there. The two Englishmen run side by side in the leaders. Contact in there and Ash Best is round. Ash Best has to save the car, loses several spots. He's side by side with his teammate Thomas, who yields that 5th place to him up at the front. Eltic trying to get up. Sorry, who's gone?
Tim just losing it on the grass there, almost taking out Just As.
Just As has to sit back as well as he loses out greatly as well. England run away with a 1-2 then, but yeah, the other Dutch team not off to a great start. Further up the field, we're seeing more side by side racing there all the way through, and ultimately most of the all of the soft starters have maintained their spots in the top 10, so there's no real drama in that regard there, as Zach pulls to the inside of Edtech towards the Ascari chicane and gets that position. I'm not sure if the Renault does have damage. Looks like he's fine, but he has lost out a little bit there. He's going to have to try and regain his ground versus the Frenchman there. He tucks in there under the rear wing. Of course, no DRS in these first few laps as XL Dan, I think, has gone round out of Ascari. That's going to set him back as further up the field, Seb is round the outside of LRT Thomas, and is he going to pull up? They're 3 wide behind him there. Dramatic stuff. Thomas has to pull into the pits. There's still 3 abreast there. Skyzy looks to try and make the pass there. He's coming into blows almost with Bjorn there, trying to go round the outside of 2 Dutchmen there who are still parked to the side sack. Wheel to wheel now, it's Bjorn and Skyzy. They both run wide. Skyzy has to take to the run off there, gets a penalty for his troubles, and will hold that 9th place there. But dramatic stuff up and down. Ash Best able to get past Zach. What is going on in these first few laps? It is crazy stuff. Don't know where to look at this point.
Yeah, I did notice on the timing screen that Zach was fighting with MNT for 3rd place, and he's lost out Ash Best as well. So Ash being very optimistic there, getting past the Alfa Romeo of Zach there.
Kimblai was
3 wide into turn 1. Madness this early on.
Kimblai was forced out wide out of Del Rogia by Lordy there in England, who's made a very good start up to 12th then, so he's backing up his 2 teammates as well then, looking pretty strong, trying to stake his claim for England there. He's got Max up behind him, is going to try and find his way past. Of course, there's some gaps beginning to emerge up and down the field there, and certainly the 2 Englishmen have pulled away quite significantly. Down there we saw Tim Ventic go off at the start. He's trying to make up for it right outside of RLRT Max through the final corner. Parabolica may have the run, may have the momentum down the main straight there. They're going to run absolutely parallel, almost touching as they go over the line for the 2nd time, but I think Max may hold that inside line at 13th. Points awarded down to 15th. Says Bannon, this is as important as any as Justin Sass tries to look to the inside. Tim Venting, not a move on Max, but Max runs wide and he slips through then up in a 13th place there as Max also loses out just Justin Sass on the exit. They may be under more pressure from Kublai up behind then. So looks like up at the front we've still got the 2 Englishmen leading there. Netherlands occupying that 3rd place on the road there, 2nd best team. At the moment, Ash Best, we saw that bad start. He's trying to make up for things. Again, more absolutely mental racing. It's not over yet there as I'm looking for close battles there. Got Sam going down the inside. Oh, fruitful on the run down towards Scarianders ahead of Bjorn tracing down Skies, but I don't think the move's going to come. So at the moment, the 2 Englishmen pulling away up at the front there with Entig. They're all beginning to bolton up behind him there. There's a train building for P3.
Yes, just speaking about the battles towards the front, it looked like Zach moving out of the way of Nolan. Let him have a pop at Ash Best. So we'll see if Nolan can get a move down. He is right up the gearbox of Ash Best, and there's a move for the lead, but Ash Best getting past MNT for 2nd, side by side. Ash just getting the move down there into turns 1 and 2.
Early pit stop from LRT Max I've seen there. I think he did pick up damage in the first few laps there, so he has to regress, and that's a blow to the French chances there. He puts on hard tyres and is probably going to try and go to the end of the race. We'll see how that one unfolds. Tim Ventic wholly off Lordy further back, as we did have a swap for the lead. Lewis Welsh taking control of the leading position. I think these Englishmen are just going to try and drag each other along for now. If you look at that, Lewis saved up a lot of BRS sitting behind his teammate and is now going to deploy it. So I think they've got a smart system going on, these two Englishmen, and I honestly can see them running away with things up at the front. They're both tremendously quick, working together as a team. And yeah, at the moment, doesn't look like anyone's getting near them. The gap already 3 seconds up at the front.
Yeah, the English lads with a clear strategy going into this race, and it really is starting to pay off, as you said, with that 3-second gap. But Ash and Nolan, Zach and MNT, the amount of battling that they're doing is not really aiding them at all in trying to catch the English lads.
We'll see what Eltic plans to do there. He's got Nolan pretty close up to the back of him. He's not going to make a move on Ash Best. Of course, the two Frenchmen eagerly sitting him behind him. There's a penalty already for Elting. And yet, how costly will that be? Of course, with the field so close, still, any penalties, any mistakes is going to cost these drivers dear. I'm looking to see more close on track battles there. It's McCrew and the slipstream of Skies. He may be trying to get past the Frenchman there. It's going to pull to the outside towards Delaroche there. They're going to go absolutely wheel to wheel into the braking zone there. Skies, he holds that inside line. Further up the field, Nolan was able to get past Eltic, who takes another blow to his chances in this race as McCrew is able to get past Skiesy indeed. So yeah, Nolan up behind Ash Best now after getting Eltic. He's looking to get 2 places in 1 lap. Goes to the outside of Lithuanian and he's ahead of Lithuanian with ease. Eltic trying to follow through behind. Round the outside of McLaren through Scar. He gets forced up the track into the gravel. Ash Best getting oversteer once again. Losing out greatly. Sem now on the back of him. He pulls to the outside towards Parabolic and I think he will have that 6th place. Ash Best though got good straight line speed. Is still slinging side by side but it's going to back off. Back late on the brakes though. Still wheel to wheel. Another penalty for Elting. What's going on with him then? Making mistakes left, right and centre by the looks of things. Sem up into 2nd. Now Ash Best trying to challenge him. Fruitful is right with both of them as well. To the inside goes Ash Best on LR Sem. And can Fruitful follow through? Of course they are. They are in fact of course both Dutch, so they've got that affiliation with each other, and Fruitful sits in behind. So drama in that battle for the podium, and Nolan grabbing that 3rd place is going to try and establish himself and maybe run with P3 in this race. He can build up that gap now with almost out of DRS range.
And yeah, with Eltink as well, with those penalties so far, Zach is looking to be in a very good spot to back up his teammate.
Yeah, France looking quite strong up at the front, and they do have Skiesy that's running pretty solidly in 11th, but of course Max's early pit stop, he's got to try and make as much progress as on those hard tyres to really make up the difference. So still looking at this battle now, looks to be over P4 as Nolan's showing some tremendous pace and beginning to gap these guys. And Zach of course says, oh, Eltic gets massively out of shape out of the Scar, and Zach may try and take advantage of that. He looks to the inside towards Parabolic, but he goes to he'll give up that DRS and Eltic will get it, but Ash Best is getting a bit of distraction. Looks on the inside of the Dutchman, doesn't quite get that move done, and now there's going to be the fight back there for Elting on Zach, picking up that slipstream towards the first corner. Zach does not cover the inside line. I think he's getting up. Sem looking at Ash Best as well, who has to cover the inside line. Mason, a very ambitious move on Zach, but gets that door shut firmly on him by the Frenchman, who has to set him behind but gets oversteer to maybe dispossess him of that 5th place there. Gets a good run in the slipstream. Is going to go side of Delaroche, has to go around the outside of Curva Grande. Now has the inside on the brakes, gets out of shape on those brakes, has to save the car while turning into the corner, is able to keep it on the island and is still attacking Zach to the inside of Lesbo 1. Zach shuts the door on him and is able to hold that 5th place, but is coming under increasing pressure. Sem and Fruitful still right into behind then. So yeah, very very close up and down the field then. Battles galore all the way through, as I don't think it's going to be quite over yet. It's at the moment P3, but they're still so close behind Eltic there. The battling. As we've got Zach now, maybe looking to in Elting just up the road. I think we're getting another swap between the Englishmen. Those guys must be supremely confident up at the front, as now Zach trying to chase down Eltank there, he's tucked in under that slipstream yet again, but sits back, not going for any sort of overly ambitious manoeuvre there, but McCrew may try one on Skyzy. He's going to set it behind, further down the field though. Could down the inside of Justice Sass, who tries to hold it round the outside to get the inside line. They're going to wrestle with each other there, but on the outside, Kumbla is able to get that 13th place. As now, looking towards the front, it's still Eltank holding up Zach. This battle over P is still so hotly contested. And yeah, who's going to emerge from this, Mike? You know, it's so tight, and we'll see who's going to be able to come out on top there.
Football getting sideways in for the first Lesmo. You can see he's lost a lot of time there to send up the headers. I mean, as you were saying, it's very tight, and one mistake could change it all, and we just saw there from Fruitful just how easy it is to make that mistake.
I think Zach is going to be ever eager, as no one's actually picked up a penalty, so he needs to try to get on with things up at the front. That gap sits around about 2 seconds between himself and Eltank. Oh, Lewis is out the session. Must have disconnected. Wow,
oh,
so that
is heartbreaking for the English lads.
We'll see if he's able to get back in soon enough. There's an early stop from Eltank there. Nolan has come in as well, so that frees up Zach, and he's got a decent gap to Sem. So they're beginning to filter out now as we do have our first pit stops from the soft starters there on lap 8, and we'll see what tires they put on. I suspect it will be mediums for all of them, as they're looking to take them all the way to the very end of the race. McCrew and Skyzy swapping this time. It's McCrew who's able to get in front, but I'm not sure if Skyzy's going to be too happy with that there. He's going to go round the outside of Curvagandi, getting squeezed by the Dutchman, keeps himself up and alongside him, and now he's going to try and win that inside line. For De La Roche, they touch, and Skyzy has to get out of it there. Tim Bendick had a look. Skyzy's back on the inside of Tim Bendick, forced off the track by the Dutchman. And now, I don't know what's going on there. As Tim is able to slip through, McCrew got his elbows out there, most certainly, and made contact on several occasions with Skyzy, who drops back. So drama down there in that battle over P7 there, and that allows Tim up behind his teammate. So Skyzy will not be happy with that. I suspect he's going to try and potentially come back at Tim. But yeah, he loses out dearly in that battle. There are 2 places in 1 lap for the Frenchman. As an early pit stop from CRG Blizzard, he goes in, and Lewis Welsh's car is able to keep going that lead. The lead that the Englishman built up is probably going to mean Lewis, when he gets back in, and I hope he does get back in quite soon if he's been sent back. That would not be great to see if he if he's not. And I think by the way, we've got some audio issues in the stream, so yeah, that's why Mike is not talking right now, so hopefully see when he gets back in. I think I've just heard him replug his mic. Are you back here, Mike?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just trying to sort out the audio issue that I'm currently experiencing at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. As I think McCrew was again defending from Skyzy, who picks himself up a time penalty and is just going to drop back ever so slightly there as Max is out the session. So Max is actually retired in the pit lane, I think, which is going to hold. That's going to be a better blow to the chances of the Frenchman, as Eltank was able to get past Fruitful there, and their dispute over 13th place on the road for the time being. And yeah, let's have a look and see how everything's unfolding up the front. Lewis is still out there and still holds a decent lead. I think his car is going to pull into the pits on this lap, so I'm not sure if he's able to get in. In fact, I will just for precaution, I'm actually just gonna. I'm not sure if I can invite him actually as a spectator. So I think that he may unfortunately be stuck there. There's Kumbla is also coming to the pits behind him. So Tim Ventic is promoted to the lead of this race. As Skyzy looks at LR McCrew, doesn't make the move stick though. So I'm looking for more battles there. This is Fruitful now attacking Eltank there, closing down the Renault. Is going to go to the inside towards turn 1, and the 12th place is going to be his then, pretty comfortably, and he is up in a P12, trying to hold that on the brakes. Has just been able to stay ahead there. Eltank may fancy his chances of trying to get a run back. And there's Tim Bentinck, I think, is round. Tim Bentinck out of De La Roche, and that's going to drop him back dearly then. demoting the Dutchman down into 5th place there, and that's going to be a blow for them. Skyzy gets that place, now he's going to try and chase down LR Crew just in front of him there. Blizzard is also out there and it's already in 4th place, so he's looking very strong. But yeah, Lewis, as he's able to get back in now, so he'll take control of his car soon enough. But that has cost him and England quite a lot of points in this race, because he's dropped right into the pack as Football goes past him. So at the moment, Skyzy's out. Skyzy must have bent it coming off of Ascari. Let's see, he's gone into the wall, bounced back onto the track. Cars have to swerve to avoid him as Nolan gets a run on Lordy towards the inside of the final corner at Parabolica, and yes, he is up into 5th place now in front of the Mercedes driver there, who I think he's actually gonna stay out, and he does have DRS off Nolan, but I don't think he's interested in regaining that place.
Lewis is out as well.
Lewis is out.
Ascari.
That must have been when he was taking control of his car, and he's just gone completely. Oh wow. So Lewis Welsh out of the running, and that means that Blizzard is really going to have to try and bring home the big. They're side by side for the lead as well there. Justin Sass is on the inside of Ella McCrew, holds around the inside, contact with them there, and McCrew spears off to the side there, and that's going to put Blizzard there, looking for a double move. He's down the inside, and he's going to regain the lead. CRG Blizzard dominating this race, and well out in front in terms of the net positions. Nolan and Zach are going to try and move forward as well. Ash Best and Sam are both still very much in the runnings. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. More battles going on. It's Tim Bentinck. You see the amount of time that he's lost. He must have damage or not from that. And Lewis Welsh, he's trying to get back in there. I think he'll. Thing is though, he will only score points now in that second race. And with Blizzard, and you know, the only guy that's really bringing home a lot of points, Lordy, is going to have to pit. It is not looking good for England at all in this final.
No, not at all. England really hurt here today with Lewis having connection issues, and I think what must have happened was him trying to take control of his car and the car just steering off. It's the only reason I can think of Lewis losing the car like that. But yeah, it's not a good day for England as Nolan gets past Lodi for P4, so he's going to try and out hunt down McCrew for 3rd and try to maybe attempt to try and catch up the CRG Blizzard, who no longer has Louis there anymore to help him with the slipstream and ERS saving.
I know Nolan has quite a substantial amount of speed, but closing down that gap on Blizzard is going to be quite the task. We'll see if he's able to pull that one off. It's still very competitive in this fight as Zach has picked up a slipstream from Tim Bentinck there. Can he get past the Dutchman there? Picking up the toe, looks towards the inside, towards the sky, may go for it on the brakes, brakes slightly later, they almost make contact there. Tim gave him the squeeze on the apex, and they almost came to blows. Zach had to back out of it there, and will be frustrated, sitting up behind that Williams driver there, who's getting a bit defensive towards Parabolica. Ash Best as well is on the inside. Zach, indeed, they run absolutely parallel through Parabolica, and Ash Best tries to force them towards the outside. They're going to both split Tim Bentinck potentially there, who's going to try and box Ash Best in. So here we go then. Tim to the inside there. They're going to go 3 wide now. Absolutely. 3 abreast. And Seb's in there as well. Ash Best cuts in front of Zach. Tim's very low on the race, goes in deep. Seb wheel to wheel with Ash Best. They make side by side contact. Seb is going to get in all those places. They're sensational. Seb has just gained 3 places in a matter of Seb is going to come back at him, going to go to the inside, no, has to left as he wasn't sure which way he was going to go to the bend. LR, Seb, what a piece of driving there, taking advantage of all of them, and he's up to 6th now on track there, and a net P3, where did that come from?
That was fantastic there from Sam, and I wonder if there was a little bit of communication going on with him and Tim Wendig, because Tim just carried straight on at turn 1, getting completely out of the way of his teammate. So I wonder if there was a little bit of discussion going on between them.
Yeah, it's quite an odd one indeed, as Tim Bentinck would essentially sacrifice himself and lose quite a lot of time there. Ash Best down the inside of Lordy. They're going to go wheel to wheel through Parabolica there. The Englishman is not giving up the place. They're going to go wheel to wheel almost on the exit there, side by side. Zach, who lost places on the last lap, is tucked in underneath. All three cars still have DRS. What does Zach make of this? Lordy back to the inside of Ash Best, who tries to squeeze him towards the inside line. On the outside, the Lithuanian may get run out of road by Lordy, and has to back out from that attempted move past the Englishman into 6th place, and has to send him behind him. May eat up a little bit of pressure from T1000 Zach, but I think it's going to be a bit too far away. Does just best have enough to maybe go for an ambitious launch. Knows a short braking zone into Della Roggia, and he can't get past, but he may get a run on exit. Look, runs into the back of the Mercedes there, who covers aggressively, trying to do his teammate Blizzard a favour and hold up as many cars as he can. But Ash is now to the inside of Lesbo, 2 hours ahead. Can Zach follow through up behind him? He is tucked in off the rear wing. There's no DRS for Lordy, and he's going to have to relinquish that slipstream as well, and Zach cruises through. So Lordy, a valiant defence of 6th place, but ultimately was futile, and he gets a penalty as well, so maybe getting in a fight that he didn't really need to be in, and that's cost him dear now, with Fruitful and Eltic also now on the back of him.
Yeah, very great defensive work there from Lordy to hold up Ash Best as much as he did, but the tyre difference really showing there with the traction that Ash got out of the first Lesmo. It was, actually no, it was out on the way down into the first Lesmo, sorry. Absolutely fantastic. As here goes Zach now to the inside with DRS wide open, and he gets the move done into the braking zone.
Lordy was waiting. The turn 1, the switchback for Fruitful was partially blocked off, so that's going to set him back in there as Elting may try and follow through. He is down side by side with a Toro Rosso, and Fruitful looking like attack. He's turned into losing a position there to the Renault, who now is tucked in behind. Ambitious dive down the inside. That's stopped. Yes, a brilliant move. Lordy forced wide over the curb, and there's contact with Fruitful on the exit there. So he was run wide, lost a lot of time and possession, and yeah, ultimately came into contact with Fruitful. So yeah, the Dutchman must not have been anticipating that there. Elting got faced, and ultimately he's really off-put 2 drivers behind him.
And Fruitful and Lordy very lucky there with no contact, no damage. Actually, no, Fruitful does have a bit of wing damage. I'm just noticing front right end plate.
There's nothing he could have. There's nothing he could have really done in that there. So that's better than disappointing for him there. Now a couple of pit stops there. That's Justice Sass and McCrew, both cars that stayed out for quite a while, and now they both go into the pit lane. So most of the race leaders are still out there. Ash Best closing down on T1000. Zach is removed on the inside. No, sits behind for the time being. So now, of course, we'll have most of the drivers that have pitted. We have a couple that haven't there. That is Thomas, who is actually on 1 lap first tires. He pitted on lap 1, maybe trying to take those all the way to the end of the race. That's a fascinating strategy. We'll see if he's able to pull that one off. It's going to be quite the challenge for the Lithuanian, but if he does, he's made a pretty good recovery in this race. As now we've got a handful of cars that are pitted on to the soft tyres, and they'll be on the charge. Justice Sass will be leading that there, and the first car on his list is QleenVigor Racing. So can he get the move done on the Dutch on those fresh softs?
Yep, now we'll see just how good the alternative strategy is for these guys now, as just as is in DRS of QleenVigor and VGL. I'm terrible with names, I really am, I do apologise. But through Ascari, you can just see the amount of grip he's got, and absolutely flying now, the soft runners.
Ash Best still hunting down Zach just in front of him on this battle over position 4 on the road there. Ash Best has a good slipstream, but he's very low on his ZRS, and that holds him back quite substantially. Thomas, though, I did mention he might try and go to the end on mediums. He's not gone for that strategy, as further down the field there's a move there. Justice Sass is able to get past Bly down that straight, so he's already beginning to stamp his charge and move a little bit further up the field. Next car to catch is 5 seconds up the road. That is LR Bjorn, another Dutchman that he can devote there. He's got a lot of Dutchmen in this area of the field, the kind of upper midfield, if you like. Still a spin up between Zach and Ash Best rages on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Zach may have a penalty, but don't count me on that. Ash Best, I don't think has one. So either way, these guys are going to go absolutely at it on track. But yeah, France, 2 drivers in the top 4, the only team to have that. And if Zach's able to hold on to this in front of Ash Best, win out this fight, that is going to really put them in a great position, to be honest. Despite the fact they've lost 2 drivers from this race, having 2 in the top 4 is going to be a huge help for them.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic for the French team to have 2 drivers in the top 4, and as you said, we don't know with penalties what's going on yet, but even though there could be a couple of penalties, it's still a great performance so far from the French lads.
Ash Best is
absolutely swooping past that.
Oh, there's contact! Zach ran into the back of him there. He's forced Ash Best right. I think he's allowed the Lithuanian to continue in that position, which is good sportsmanship, so he is going to hang back on that one there. Here's a battle on track. It's Thomas in front of Lordy there. He is in overtake mode as the Englishman, so he may try and get a move done, but he's still quite far away, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to claw back that deficit towards the first corner. No, so the field has spread out just a small amount there. Still a couple of close on track battles, but it is Blizzard who's well and truly run away with this one, and at the moment it doesn't look like he's gonna come under much threat. But because he has no drivers inside the top 10, England are gonna suffer regardless. I think overall I can't pick a team that's got a significant edge. I think it's extremely close between all 5 teams. So we'll see. We'll obviously top points once everything's said and done. But I don't think that any team's really stealing a real edge here. It's so tight between everyone, showing how competitive this division is. Because really, I can't pick a winner at this stage.
Extremely close right now. I think between all 5 of the nations, and to be fair, Blizzard has driven fantastic, and he really needs to. He needs to walk away with this, as Zach blocking up, going just a little bit deep there into turn 1, losing a bit of time to Ash Best. So maybe that's the break that Ash Best needs to try and start the gap the Frenchman behind.
Yeah, and if you can get him outside that DRS, it's going to be much easier for him to maintain that position. But Zach does have a bit more ERS at his disposal, so he may be able to stay in contact and maybe come back at the 4th place man later on in this right there. Justice Ass charge continues. He chases down Bjorn just in front of him there. He's making very quick progress and trying to rack up as many points as he possibly can. I'm trying to see actually, because England has 1 driver in the top 10, France has 2, Netherlands 1 has just, I think it has 2 as well. I think there's 2 drivers. I think every team, I'm trying to, what tribes? I think it's Netherlands 2 potentially that has more than 1 driver. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of, but I think at the moment there's no team that has a significant edge, and that's great to see, because you know it means that the second race, the stakes are still extremely high, because we don't know who's going to be well out in front and who's got the advantages and disadvantages going into that all-important second race. Justice Ass closes down Bjorn, late dive down the inside of the Dutchman, they make a bit of contact, and contact through turn 2 as well. Bjorn though has to yield that 8th place eventually. Justice Ass picks up a place, and that will serve him very, very well as he tries to move forward in this Grand Prix. So he is now up at a P8, and next car up the road is fruitful. So if he's able to back up Ash Best's 4th place at this stage, it's going to mean Lithuania could be in good stead to continue their form and maybe put themselves near the top of the standings come the end of race 1.
Yep, not only that, if Thomas can maybe hunt down McCrew for 11th, and if they equally close in that gap to Cohen in 10th, that could be an extra 2 points here that Thomas could gain if the tyres and speed is with him.
Indeed, yeah, that's a fascinating prospect indeed. I think Zach is pretty willing try and fight back at Ash's best there, who's going to go middle of the track now to the outside as he realises that I think his defence over 4th place is futile, and Zach sweeps through into 4th place, retakes that on the road, and he is now through on the McLaren once again. Can Ash Best regain that? I think they're going to keep swapping and changing to the checkered flag as it stands at the moment. Justice Ass chasing down Fruitful there. We mentioned that battle as well. As at the moment, not too much going on out on track. It is really Zach and Ash Best. That's the battle that we are looking out for. Two high quality drivers going at it on track. We'll see who's able to come out on top in that one as they continue to dispute things. We'll see who is able to rise above it and come through, because yeah, with you know how close the standings appear to be, every position is going to mean dear to these guys, and of course every fight is one that is worth fighting there. There's no points to be given away here. It's such a competitive championship, and that's the mentality these drivers need to bring forward through all the races if they want their teams to prevail.
Yeah, and you can see just how much it means to not only Zach but Ash Best as well, the amount of fighting that these two are doing for P4. And I was just noticing then that Ash Best getting a little bit sideways on the exit of Ascari there. So he's pushing it as he is closing up with DRS into turn 1, but doesn't get close enough. But Zach getting a little bit out of shape there in the first part of the chicane and losing the back end, and he's going to be under some serious pressure right now. It's just as he gets past Fruitful for 7th place, and just as is on a charge now. Next up, L Tink.
Yeah, I think at the moment the pace he's showing, he may even be threatening this battle over P4, which will work wonders for Lithuania to potentially, by the looks of things, have two drivers inside the top 6. May mean that they'll be leading. Of course, they have a Flaky that's down in 16th, and Max, sorry, I got a bit confused there. It's a Thomas that's also in 12th. So I think that Lithuania may be the leading team as it stands, because although they've got no drivers inside the top 4 at the moment, I still think as Justice Sass picks up a penalty though, just as I say that, bit of a commentator's curse on my head, there's someone that's going off out of a scar, I believe that is. I'm not sure, because the yellow flags cleared themselves quite quickly.
That's correct. I believe Flaky was getting out of the way of
right. Oh yeah, he has actually been a lap down, so it's not been a great day for the Malaysian, as Ash Best closing down Zach. No move into turn 1. He's being conservative on those brakes, maybe trying to build up his ERS. As we saw, he was running a little bit low. He's got a lot more than he did this time last lap, so we'll see if he's able to use that one to good effect. So he tries to hunt down the Frenchman just in front of him, but I don't think the move is going to come just yet. He is still sitting right in contention though in this very, very entertaining battle. Can he get that move done? Justice Ass, we saw him just get that penalty, but he still chasing down Eltic, who I know has 6 seconds at least. So that disastrous first few laps around in terms of staying on track, I think it's going to set him back, because the field is still relatively close through the midfield. So I think if he's if he's not careful with the penalties, he can find himself losing quite a lot of positions and lose quite a lot of points for the Netherlands as well. So he's got to be very wary of how he drives to the remainder of this race, because even though he's 6th place right now, and as I say that, he picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, and ultimately I think he's going to lose out greatly from the pens, probably dropping to the very edges of the top 10 as it stands there, because really picking up these sort of penalties, you can't afford to do that in such a competitive race.
Yeah, and speaking of penalties, as you were saying, with the battle at the front being as tight as it is, as Sam picks up a 3-second time penalty, I was just about to say, any one of these guys at the top picking up a penalty, and that's a position lost for him.
Indeed, yeah. So if they're picking up those pens, it's going to cost them dear. Justice Asses in the slipstream of Elter. I don't think he'll be close enough just yet into the LRNC, though he does send him behind the Rhino for now. Gets a little bit out of shape through that second chicane. Is going to have to try and pick himself back up at best. Is still chasing down Zach, and they're within range of Sem as well then, so that could be a blow for the Netherlands there. And again, Lithuania could take a little bit of a step up in proceedings here as Ash Best is closing down Zach. He's going to go for the move into a Sky there, not placed that the Frenchman was expecting. He's been caught off guard. Through goes Ash Best. He's up in the fourth, but Zach may look to fight back at him there, but sets him behind, going towards Parabolica. Fruitful picks up a time penalty there, so that could set him back as well. Penalties for the Netherlands may cost them dear. So we'll see how that is able to shape up. We're on the penultimate lap here at Monza there, the dying moments of this Italian Grand Prix. We've still got Australia after this for everything to be shaken up. Zach is closing them and Ash Best all the time. He's going to look towards the inside. No! Ash Best comes it off last minute. It's just Sass breezes past Elting on the main straight, and he is up in a sixth place then and beginning to make himself progress. But Ash retakes fourth, but needs to try and get himself within 3 seconds of Sem. That gap sits just over 3 seconds, and if he's coming under pressure from Zach, it's going to hold both of them back. It could mean that Seb may hold that P3, but yeah, what happens in his last 2 laps is going to be vital for the outcome in those battles.
And I think that Zach not going for a lunge around the outside of turn 1 there is a smart call, because DRS on this final lap is going to be so crucial for both of these guys. As Nolan picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now that I think is the second one I've seen from him. So
I think he has 6 seconds. Yeah.
That was really starting to heat up, because this could be the battle for P2 right now between Ash and Zach.
I think you're right on that one there, but of course they're really teetering with that 3-second window. So if Zach fancies have chances against Ash here, it could set them both back in the grand scheme of things. Sem may still get P2 overall then. We'll see how that all shapes up. Zach is in the slipstream, but he may just be too far away on Ash Best, who's confident to move back to the racing line and holds P4. So now he's got to try and stay within 3/10, and out wide goes Zach, and that is going to cost him. He's not going to be within range of Ash, surely now, until the end of this Italian Grand Prix. So I think that may spell the end to his chances of beating Ash on track. Of course, these guys may have penalties. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how it all shapes up. But Blizzard, I think we can be very confident, is well and truly out in front. He's come under pretty much zero pressure, led from the front. He lost his supporting teammate Lewis Welsh, unfortunately, due to, I believe, a technical issue with the AI. So as he just does get back in the session, and we will resume racing. Sorry, what is it?
You must have heard you.
Indeed. So Blizzard, he has driven an imperious race here at Monza, and on what an otherwise poor day for England, he has picked up the paces and will come over the line. He wins the Italian Grand Prix, and that could be vital in the grand scheme of things for the English team. Nolan's almost spun it. Oh, what a save from Nolan. That's going to cost him time though, and with 6 seconds of penalties, is Sem going to get him at the line? No, Sem also had penalties. So Ash Best and Zach come over the line. They get second and third. Ash gets P2 in this Grand Prix. So yeah, Sem had those 6 seconds, could not get past Nolan, but Ash, as Justin Sass, just about able to pit Bjorn.
Yes, up in the 7th.
Yeah, so that does help out the Dutch cause as well. But I think that Lithuania may be the highest scoring team from that first round. It's very, very close, and everything is still to play for. We'll have to tally up the points. Hopefully the league admin will be sorting that out as quickly as we can, and maybe putting them into the chat so we can sort things out and have an idea of who's winning, who's a little bit further down, because that was a very, very entertaining opening round and very competitive. But Blizzard picks up the win for England. Otherwise, it's a pretty bad first race for them. They've got some ground to make up.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, you got a feel for Lewis a bit, having to lag out and then coming back in his car, DNF, and when he gets control of it again. But sometimes those things still happen in racing, especially in this F1 world. So you got a feel for him.
Yes, indeed. So of course, we're looking through the results here. Vans also have 2 drivers inside the. If you look, they also had 2 DNFs. How much will that set them back? It's a bit of a mixed bag for those guys overall, the Dutchmen were kind of amongst the midfield runners there. They didn't have anyone up near the front, unfortunately, for them. And of course, beyond being the only Team 2 driver inside the top 10, could be huge news for them. They're going to have to try and fight back later on. Of course, Netherlands one also have 3 drivers inside the top 10 on the outer reaches of it. So they may still be in the hunt. You never know. But yeah, I think Lithuania, with just 2 drivers in the top 10, but all the drivers, well, of course, Thomas just outside, and all the drivers finishing. I do think that they may have the lead, but I don't think it will be by much. I still think everything is on the table. There's a lot still to play for.
I think Lithuania just a little bit ahead right now, and if it's okay with you, I'm going to take this opportunity to quickly try and sort out this audio issue that I got.
Alright, that's fine.
So if someone could send me an invite so I could join back into the lobby, and I will try and sort out this audio issue ASAP, and also try to get back into the party as well.
Okay, no problem, mate. So yeah, Mike's gonna jump out. I do know that I tend to have quite audio issues, so I'm not sure if it's him or me, but I don't think he's quite hearing me right. I think he's been saying that I'm very quiet, so yeah, that's I'm not sure if you guys are experiencing the same thing, but hopefully things are able to...
not just I, it's the game as well.
The game?
Not hearing any audio in the game, so I'm just going to quickly reset.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, see you in a bit. So yeah, so Mike has jumped out, so I'm kind of left to this. But yeah, a pretty entertaining opening race, but we will see, of course, how the rest of the event will shape up. I'm definitely looking forward to everything, to the rest of it unfolding. Of course, we do have 3 English drivers here. Now, you can't underestimate England, although it was a real mixed bag for them in that opener. You can never quite count them out, because they've shown such dominance throughout the rest of the event. But they've obviously lost quite a few of their fastest drivers ahead of this final, which does hold them back. But they're going to have to try and make do with what they have, and that is 3 drivers to dispute things. So we've got 16 still in the lobby. I think we're getting a few swaps in and out amongst the teams. That's fine, and yeah, we can get back to racing soon enough. So if I had to guess, obviously France had a pretty strong first round with 2 of their drivers inside the top 4, but of course the other 2 not making the checkered flag, which really holds them back. England had Blizzard picking up 25 points, but Lordy didn't get a huge sum of points, and of course Lewis also didn't make the checkered flag, although that was largely through technical issues. So England also had a bit of suffering. Lithuania had 2 drivers inside the top 6, I believe. Thomas got a decent enough haul of points, and Flaky I think was outside the points. So again, they weren't completely dominant out there. The first Netherlands team had a pretty decent showing with 3 drivers inside the top 10. I think they were the only team to achieve that, but ultimately no drivers scoring huge points. The second Netherlands team had Bjorn, I believe, getting a pretty decent haul of points, but ultimately the rest of the team didn't quite go to plan for them. So I think overall the Dutch teams are probably on the back foot here. But yeah, it's just so close overall, and yeah, we'll see how everything tots up, as I'm going to have to try and find things to talk about for the next 7 minutes or so, so hopefully we're able to get things done. So yeah, that's going to be quite something to look forward to in the future. We will see if hopefully we're able to get near enough a full grid of drivers for the final race in Australia. I know a lot of Formula 1 seasons are accustomed to opening with Australia, but we've decided to bring it to a conclusion at the Albert Park circuit. We'll see how everything unfolds, and yeah, the answers to all the questions we've been asking, they'll come through in the next the 20 minutes or so. We'll get back to racing, and in the next hour we'll probably resume. So I believe I'm just looking at the Discord chat there, and a member of Team France, Skyzy, has done a few calculations of the points, but not included Lithuania for some reason. But out of those teams, France is scoring the highest with 38. Then it's the second Netherlands team with 32, first Netherlands team with 26, and the Team England on 20. I'm not sure if that's correct, to be honest. There, it doesn't. Some of it match. I think he may, because personally I thought that Netherlands 1 outscored Netherlands 2, but that says otherwise. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if, of course, if that is the if that is how it's actually gone down. As we now have 19 drivers in the lobby. In fact, I'm just gonna ping Mike some invites for when he jumps back in. So there we go, that should be everything. Yeah, we got 19 drivers in here, so let's see how we go. Yeah, has Mike's got back in? Is it sorted out now?
No.
What did you try?
It's definitely on my end because I'm not getting any game audio in it either.
That's odd. I'm not sure if you've looked at all your settings and whatnot.
I can no longer join the session that you sent me.
Odd. Okay, let's try again then. I'm not sure.
Having all the issues tonight.
Yeah, I've sent you another one. Oh, you're back. You're in. Yep. So are you? So you're in the lobby, okay now?
I really don't know what's going on with my audio at the moment. It was fine at the beginning when we first got in the party together, but just gone funny. I think it might be an issue on PSN's side or something.
Well, yeah, that's unfortunately there's not much that we can really do about that. But yeah, I do apologise for the issues. Hopefully it doesn't come across too badly on the actual live stream, because we are experiencing some difficulties, I'm afraid.
I'm just seeing in the chat people having error code issues as well.
Yeah, I was wondering why, because we were struggling to get a few drivers into it. So I think we're just waiting for I think I just need to wait for the admin to say, because I think we're all a bit unclear on where this is actually going. Okay, looks like we are making a new lobby. But I do think that there are, I do think that there is issues with PSN, and even with the audio sharing, as we're experiencing. So, yeah, this is very strange. I'm not sure what's going on here. So I think Mike is probably trying to sort. I think Mike is trying to sort out his audio yet again. Is this a little time in between? So yeah, it looks like we are going to be joining a new one, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to get back to where I do. Like, again, I completely apologise for. I do apologise for all these issues. Again, it's completely out of our control. So I'm just waiting for an invite. We can try and get back in. And Mike, are you still here? Are you can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. I can just about hear you.
Okay.
I mean, I'll soldier on anyway with it.
Okay. Alright, so let's get you in here. Right, so hopefully we get as many drivers in here as quickly as possible. So if just a message to the drivers, if you can all respond to the invites you've been sent as swiftly as you can, please, because that'd be really appreciated if we're able to get this back underway as soon as we can, and yeah, get back to the racing that you all love. So yeah, please do just respond as quickly as you can. We can get things back underway soon enough.
Alright, looks like we're missing just 2 more lads, I think.
Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah. So if we can just get as many in as we can in a short space of time, we're only running a little bit late, so we can sort things out. Very briefly saw 3 spectators for some reason, so not sure why that's the case, but anyway, we'll. I think we're just waiting on 1 more, and we can get the show back on the road very shortly.
Okay, here we go. We got 19 guys in.
Yep. I think we're getting back to racing very shortly, so that's good to see. I do apologise for the issues, for the delay, but we can get things underway for what will be the deciding race in the LRNC Championship. To my knowledge, Lithuania leads by a pretty slender margin. France is in second. Then I believe it's the first Netherlands team ahead of England, and then the second Netherlands team. So it still is a play for. In fact, I can confirm that the gap between all of the teams, every single one of them, is about 15 points. So really, no team is out of this one just yet. And yeah, you're going to be treated to over an hour of great racing still to come, because yeah, with with all 5 teams still very much in contention, it's going to be a great joy to see who comes out on top here. Which teams will prevail in this final race?
Yeah, but a completely different change of scenery as well. Change of how the track drives from the high-speed track of Monza to the relatively technical and flowing track here for the Melbourne.
Indeed, very different driving styles will need to be employed to be quick at these tracks, and yeah, there'll probably be different names that will be rising to the top. We're just going to have to wait and see how everything comes together. So with, again, just a qualifying session and a 50% race ahead of us, it's been quite a series. I hope you've all really enjoyed watching these live streams, watching these races, because it all comes down to this. Let's do it then. The final race in LRNC. Who's going to come out on top here? 5 teams still to dispute this championship, and 19 drivers looking to have their say in which nation is going to taste the glory of the championship. So who's going to come out on top, Mike? I'm very excited to see who.
Looks like we got the first few cars now coming out on the track, and it's going to be very interesting because, as you said, the standings from that first race are very, very close to my knowledge anyway.
Yeah, there really isn't much in it at all, and that's the that's the kind of the kind of dynamic that goes into this race, is that no team can go into it thinking that they're safe, and no team can come into this thinking that they're out of it. Every one of these drivers has a role to play in the outcome of this event, as I think, oh god, we're getting some very interesting scenes there. So I think that means Ashbest and Zach, Ashbest and Lewis, MNT Lewis, I think are desynced, because I saw some very disturbing images there. So yeah, I think hopefully they're not near each other on track at any point, because yeah, I really could do without the stream being taken down for inappropriate content. So it's Lewis then who's gearing up for the lap, and in fact lets Ashbeth through. So we'll see how Lithuanian is able to establish his team then going round the final turn to open up this flying lap. Let's see how we're able to go then into the first corner here at Albert Park. Flicks it in, heading the curb on the inside, now running out towards the outside. DRS now open, now overtake mode, powering down towards turn 3 on the brakes, into second gear, rotates the car through, then up into fourth for turn 4, get traction from the exit, no real dramas for Lithuania. We suspect Lithuania had a very good first round. Can he keep that momentum up there as a second place finisher from the opening round? Glides it nicely through turn 8, holding that tight line now towards the braking zone for turn 9. Takes it in third gear, misses the apex slightly on the inside, now powers out on the exit, gets very close to the wall then, going round turn 10 now towards turn 11 and 12. There's brilliant chicane, hit the curbs on the inside, no invalidation there. Now DRS open yet again in overtake mode towards the final sector. Into turn 13, Lewis is out the session already then. I think he's crashed off of turn 12, and that could be a huge setback for Team France then. That's really not what they wanted to see early on.
That was Max around as well on the exit coming out of the, I forget what corner it is, the turn 12?
Yeah, turn 12, the high-speed chicane, yeah.
Yeah.
And thankfully for him, he's able to recover the car, so he is certainly not out of the session just yet, but with damage, as Zach goes quickest just in front of LR I believe is jumped in for the second Netherlands team, and is looking to put himself up there as well. So time's flicking in, and there's a time from Nolan Lambert. We saw his pace in the last race, and there's a bit of evidence that he is here to play then. A 19.8 is at top of the timesheets for the time being. There's I believe it's Zach that was. It's just in second there. Anyone on flyers of note there? My controller's glitching out a little bit here. I can't flick past Flaky for some reason. Anyway, I wanted to find a CRG Blizzard as I can't because of the stupid controls. Yeah, I think there's some sort of technical issues going on with me there. Here is Blizzard then, and I know he seems to be on an end lap. He actually did a 19.6, I think that is. But yeah, that's unfortunately set that one back. So yeah, that validation is going to cost him. We'll see Lordy coming around the final corner. He is to the line, but it's only P10 there on a 21.4, so he's got to try and find some time for himself. So at the moment there, we've seen a lot of drivers that have set their first laps now pulling into the pits, but after the opening laps, it's Nolan currently has that fastest time at 19.8. Can he stay up at the front for the remainder of this session?
We've just seen Blizzard, and from the looks of it, looks like he invalidated that 19.6, but Blizzard showing that he's got the pace to challenge Nolan. We yet to see Lewis out on track yet. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how Lewis is able to establish himself in amongst the names here. Flaky up to the line though, but that's only P11, a couple seconds adrift of Lordy, so he's got to try and improve on that mark. It is pretty quiet out on track for the time being. Looks like most drivers are in the pit lane or gearing up for flying laps. So we'll see who's pretty close to starting one. I'm not sure.
Bijon is just coming into the final two corners now, just getting ready to go for a flying lap. So we'll see what his exit is like on the final corner. Nice and smooth. And here we go.
Over the line then to start his first flying lap. Onto the brakes of the turn one. Cuts the curb on the inside, and that's the lap over before it's really begun. Invalid already, and I think he's gonna have to. Well, he's gonna have to back off that one. He's still pushing on his ERS, so he's maybe just trying to see what the lap would have been. As Fruitful has just come over the line, but it looks like he's got a DRS failure because he's not opened it on the main straight to open up his lap, which is obviously not what he wanted to do then.
And the second one as well.
Yeah, so I think he does have a failure, which is, yeah, very disappointing for him. That's pretty important here at Melbourne because you have 3 different DRS zones on this track. And how much is that going to cost him overall then? It's going to be forced into losing that time. I think it doesn't seem to be going all out, but yeah, he's certainly lost a few tenths in that first sector just from the lack of DRS. But he's still pushing actually. He seems to be... To me, his driving looks quite conservative for being on a flying lap. So, yeah, there's not really much going on in the session, so it's not easy to actually. I believe Max is on a flyer. Let's have a look at the racing point and his progress through the remainder of this flyer. At the moment now, going into turn 11 there, hit the curb on the inside, but it validates another invalidation from one of the drivers out there. So yeah, really, very, very. Dirty at the moment they're out on track. A lot of the drivers throwing away their laps very early on, and that's of course not what they want to be doing. Let's have a look to see drivers potentially further on their laps then. I do believe Zach has just come out the first sector and is purple. He's pretty near the top of the standings at the moment. So he may be in contention. I'll cut over to you, mate, to take us through the rest of his lap. Out of turn 10. He's going to try and keep it going. Can he get to the top of the 10? Nolan.
Down a little bit of slipstream from the Ferrari up ahead is down as he is now into the heart of the final sector, keeping it nice and calm, keeping it cool and collected. And comes through that right hander into the penultimate corner. Does run a little bit wide, but he keeps it going, and a little bit of a wiggle there in the final corner on the exit, but to the line he'll come, and it's a 21 flat, gets him up into P10.
Right, I'm going to keep an eye on Zach then and his progress. He's just come over the line and has improved, but not by enough. It's a 19.8 and he sits still second place, but at the moment he'll be pretty content with his teammate, and it's another improvement from Nolan, a 19.5. That's a big lap, and it may be enough to stay near the top for now. Of course, we haven't seen the top billing Englishmen on their laps just yet, and how they are able to establish themselves in this qualifying session, but they may be able to be in with a shout. Ash Best, I think, has just put himself up in a P3. It's Fruitful has gone out the session, so he must have lagged out. Hopefully he's able to get back in. Kumbly goes P6 then, so he moves up the order just a little bit. Still a lot of drivers that haven't set times as of yet, and are going to have to look to improve later on. I think it's ITIX, so it's beginning to bunch up just a bit there around that low 20 zone. I honestly, if I'm being honest, I'd expect quite a lot of these drivers to be able to get into the mid and possibly low 19s. It's definitely a possibility, and I'm surprised that not as many drivers have got into the 18s yet. So we're still waiting for a lot of the really quick times to be put down, and we'll see how these drivers are able to move forward. They're more than halfway through the session, and I'm sure a lot of evolution to come.
I mean, sometimes it's just better just to get a lap on the board, as Blizzard now starts his flying lap, so he's going to be hoping to do just that, get a lap on the board. And he's taking turns 1 and 2, nice, DRS wide open on the run down into 3, breaking down into 2nd, get the rotation, short shifting up into 3rd as he holds it in 4th for turn 4, 5. As we got the McLaren in the wall of, I believe that's Flaky.
Yeah, Flaky on his out lap as well, so yeah, he's gone off very early on in that, so that is a bit of a disappointment for the Lithuanian, or for the Malaysian driving with the Lithuanians. So he's got to surely go back into the pits, and there's not enough time, or there's very limited time for him to have to try and improve on that mark, and try and get himself a bit further up the grid, because at the moment that time doesn't look like it's going to be good enough to do much damage at the moment.
As we got Blizzard now coming into the penultimate corner. It was a purple sector too, I did notice, so this could be right up there. He comes to the line now. What's it going to be for CRG Blizzard? Across the line, and it's a 19.4, which puts him on provisional pole position.
Yeah, I did mention that, you know, you expect to see drivers in the mid to low 19s, and Blizzard beginning to finally show up there and put down the marks that these guys are really hunting for. So I think it was a bit quiet at the time being. LR has come over the line, and he will kick off a flying lap. So let's track the Williams man and his progress throughout this. They're going through turn 1, they're flat. Through turn 2, currently sitting about midfield on a 20 flat, so he's going to look to try and improve on that mark. Of course, only an incremental improvement of just a few hundredths, half a 10, is going to put him up inside the top 4. So of course he's going to be searching those minute improvements over that final lap. As Bugatti has joined the session, I believe he's going to be representing England. So now England have a full roster of drivers, which could be very beneficial, because currently they're on the back foot, I believe sitting 4th overall. But you know, if they have 4 drivers in here, including some of the fastest drivers on the platform, don't count out England just yet. They may still be in this, but at their unorganised run throughout this tournament, they've still got a lot of work to do if they want to win overall.
Yep, and from what I know from Bugatti, I know he's definitely no slouch on this game, so a valuable asset for the England lads to have going this race.
Down into the ultimate corner comes LRNC, then continuing on that progress. I saw a car out, that's Mike I think, that's going off again out of turn 12, and that's going to hold that back there. Kuhn over the line, that's a good lap, a 19.7 to put himself in P3 for the time being there. But beginning to see more of those drivers squeaking in to the 19s. Expect more to come later on in the session there. Lewis Welsh got a bit out of shape going out of turn 14 there, but brings it back under control for the final corner. Then in fifth gear, runs it onto the outside curve. Can he put himself up with the top guns in this session? The answer is a resounding yes. A 19.3 goes pole by just under a tenth, and again that power duo, that power couple of Lewis and Blizzard put themselves 1 and 2, and that's going to be good. Can they hold on to that though? Less than 4 minutes to go in this quali, because having 1-2 going into the second race is valuable, and they need to try and hold that if England want to have a chance of winning this thing.
Yeah, 100%, and I was on board with Lewis for that entire lap. It looked like he could squeeze a good amount out of it as well. But we could be seeing a quicker time from Lewis if he's able to get back to the pits and get back out again for another run.
Teventek over the line, and it's P6 then. Another driver to get into the 19s. Now we have a six drivers in there as he goes well over the inside of the first corner. So let's see as Nolan is on a flying lap then. The Frenchman. We'll see how he's able to get on. Of course, we know that he set that 19.5 quite a long time ago in the session. He's probably got more in that. So can he topple Lewis Welsh at the top of the timesheets there? He's going to fly it through, glides it through turn 8. Braking zone of turn 9 on the brakes into third gear and fourth. Short shifts, gets the traction and powers out through turn 10. Now going towards this fantastic high-speed chicane at 11 and 12. Running up close to the wall. He's up by just a 100th of a second. He's got to try and squeak out more time, and he tried to squeak in a bit too much because that is invalid, unfortunately, for the Frenchman. So yeah, that will not be an improvement for him. Neither will Kumblai, who I was just flicking to. He's invalidated as well. As yeah, so a little bit quiet. A lot of drivers now beginning to go out of the pits and merge. And yeah, preparing for those final flying laps. So this is the business end of this quali session now. Everyone raring to go, eager to get back underway, and we will see who will come out on top, who will set down the times that they need to get pole position and get as many teams up at the front, get as many drivers in the team up at the front as they can. Less than 2 minutes to go. Who's going to come out on top here? As Tim is out the session. I'm not sure where he's gone there. Looks like, oh, that's Blizzard is letting a car through there. He's just about managed to emerge from that pit lane. Lewis Welsh is in a bit of a hurry to get out. I don't think he will make it out, you know. I think he's pretty much a done deal in this quali session. He's actually moving down the pit lane now. Out the pit lane, pulls to the outside. He has got to fly on this end lap if he wants to get over the line and start this lap, because it's going to be very tight at the moment, and he really needs to. As I saw on the mini map, he just went straight on into turn 6, I think that is. So that's very odd there. Weird place to crash, and that's going to be him out of this session. He will not improve on that 7th place that he has on the grid at the moment.
Yeah, and just on board with Lewis, he is absolutely flying around the track, as taking a pretty adventurous line there through 9 and 10 in attempts to make it around.
I'm not sure though, he's only got 30 seconds to get to the line. I'm not sure if it's going to come out well for him. RLRT Thomas currently sits 14th. He comes up to the line, and it's P4 then. That's a substantial improvement. His teammate Justice Sass has invalidated on his lap, so he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders if he wants to make up. A lot of drivers are cutting it close on the time. Blizzard is only just going to make it with less than 10 seconds left on the clock over the line behind him. Then I think that Sack just
miss out.
Oh, he's just missed out indeed. So he's not made it despite the lines he was taking, so he will not improve on that 19.3, and maybe it could be vulnerable that Nolan's not going to improve and neither will Thomas. So there's quite a lot of drivers that have that firepower around them, that have that ability, that are not going to be setting better marks than what they have for the time being.
And Blizzard is up by a 10th.
Ooh. But of course, if he gets that, he needs to improve on that mark, because he's currently vulnerable to a lot of cars behind him. So if he's able to get more time out of this final flyer, it's going to put him in great stead for the race if he's able to further improve on that time. And at the moment, 2/10 up, he is on a absolutely sensational lap. Can he keep this up to the last sector? Blizzard could be on a masterful lap here.
Blizzard is absolutely flying right now.
Into turn 14, onto the outside curve. There's been no errors there. This is looking extremely impressive. It's just the final corner to go, and this looks like a huge lap then from CRG Blizzard, currently second on the road to the line, and it's a 19-1. That is some lap from Blizzard. Zach up to the line is not going to be able to improve on his position there. He still sits behind LR as we've got Ash Best. No, he will not improve. Justice Sass is coming to the pits as well, so Lithuania, not an amazing session. The leader after the first round. Maybe, just maybe, they could be under quite a lot of pressure to rack up the points, because it wasn't a great session for them and they could be on the back foot going into this race.
Yeah, as you said, like, we'll be seeing different people towards the top, and it looks like we are seeing a few different people towards the top, but the two that remain, CRG Blizzard and Lewis Welsh, up on our front row, with Nolan in third, Thomas in fourth, Cohen in fifth, Zach in sixth, Tim Wendick in seventh, Eltink in eighth, Ashbest ninth, Max 10th, and then outside the top 10, Cohen, Bielge, Bijon, Mike, Just As, Dan, Lodi, Flaky, MNT, Lewis, and Fruitful, as Nolan's left the session.
Ooh. Hopefully, now he's got quite a, hopefully he has a backup invite and he can get back in, because he's got quite a bit of time to be able to get himself through it in the lobby, but that does mean that I think he's not going to be able to set his fuel load, his strategy for the race, so that could be costly for the Frenchman and for the French team as a whole, because if they're, if they're missing, a key driver and being, a top 2 team in that first race, that it's going to be quite some void to fill, and France could be really up against it here.
Yeah, and only that we got Thomas has left the session as well, and
we may, I think, we've got
left.
We've got a looks like we've got a mass disconnection here. Yeah,
it's looking like it.
Got a lobby issue. Oh man, so yeah, I don't think we can really go ahead with this because we've lost about half the field now. So I think, host is gone. Looks like we're gonna have to. I'm not sure if it's because we're making a new lobby, but yeah, we can't go ahead with this race certainly. So I'm not sure if we're gonna maybe postpone this second race, or if we're just gonna go later on, because we're quite a bit behind schedule, and that's so unfortunate. But yeah, looks like we're just having major technical issues here. Right, I think we're just going to have to jump out the session in this case. Yeah, we're getting
Under the sun are plaguing us here tonight.
We are making a new lobby though with a custom grid, so we'll probably have to wait for a little while before we can resume things. But yeah, that's I'm again, huge apologies. The event's not really run smoothly. PSN and Codemasters have had a bit of a field day, and we've been on the receiving end of it. So yeah, hopefully we can this time we can get things going for good. I like really so sorry for all the issues we've been having.
But you know the old saying, third time's a charm. So hopefully this will be the one.
I don't know why Skyzy has gone to spectator. It seems that does baffle me slightly. In fact, because I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not. I don't think. I'm not sure if he was racing for France. In fact, that might be why. Because but then again, I just need to have a quick check here. Hold on. Because I don't think Skyzy was racing. But if he's made a lobby and has put himself as a spectator, that means that we can only fit 22 drivers in, which means we can't get a 20th driver.
I'm pretty sure MNT Lewis replaced Skyzy.
Yeah, so we have 5 French drivers in the lobby. The Skyzy obviously is intending to host because of the internet, and has put himself as a spectator so he doesn't get in the way, but inadvertently he is getting in the way because we can't get our 20th driver in here. So a bit of a bizarre situation we have here, because if he leaves, then of course the lobby host will go to someone random, and yeah, it's just a bit of a mess really.
Just letting Skyzy know that
Yeah.
we do have 20 drivers for this one.
Indeed. So we have 19 drivers in, but of course we'll be missing. I think who's not got in actually. I think it's
I think the penny has dropped for Skyzy.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think we're missing a Dutch driver that's get in. So yeah. It's just a mess, man. That's just also for me quite a lot of the lobby. As I say that, it just all sorted itself out, but it seems like the lobby connection's a little bit inconsistent as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me then you was on red bar, but you're back up to full green now.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue that we got now, Skyzy would have to leave now before we jump into the race.
Yeah.
Because if he left as everyone's readied up, then he'll most likely glitch the lobby, because it's usually what happens.
Yeah, host migration, indeed. Yeah. I just like I've come to the proposal of potentially postponing the race because we're running quite a bit behind schedule now, and PSN seems to be being a bit funny tonight. So. Is the race? I'm guessing the race is probably still going ahead, and it's yeah. So we are gonna get back to it. I've approached the idea of postponing it, but yeah. So we're proceeding without, I believe, NSX Fruitful. That's not in. So to me, this is just bizarre. But we'll as no, we've just gone back, so I think we're making a custom grid of some sort.
We've just had a word come through. Fruitful can't join his internet as gone kaput.
Okay. Right, so I think we've had a little lobby change, and we'll get to things finally. Hopefully, for the last time of asking, and nope, we've run readying, so something's going on again. It's just.
I think it's like a 50-50 split on what to do right now. Half of the lobby wants to just ready up, the other half wants to make sure everyone's in.
Yeah, I think it's SkyZ that's just making up the grid. That's why, and some drivers were jumping the gun a little bit on that. But
right, so the host has fallen on the Nolan.
Onto Nolan. So right, so SkyZ's left the lobby. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah. So Nolan now has the host. I just. So is Nolan just gonna?
And we're already hearing some complaint that Nolan's hosting. I mean, I don't know what it is for you, but for me, Nolan's on. He's on green 4 bars. So
4 for me as well. Yep. Right, we just need to pray that this holds up.
If it doesn't, I think one of us should probably host it.
Yeah, no, my internet's not the best. Alright, looks like we are going though. Just like I'm not having fun here, to be honest. There's a huge amount of indecisiveness that's been going on amongst everyone, really. Because yeah. So anyway, I think we'll we'll get to things now. Let's hope that it's at least somewhat decent, somewhat stable, as we'll have a custom grid. So we'll get right into the racing, and yeah, hopefully it holds up, because yeah, this has been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But
we're gonna have to restart. Skyzy didn't do the grid.
Oh, you're joking.
I'm not. I just read it in Discord then.
Well, let me just check the. No, the order looks good to me. The order actually looks like the qualifying session. So, what? What?
Right, I'll rewind the stream and I'll have a look just to make sure. Hopefully he's absolutely nailed it. Right, Blizzard and Lewis front row lockout, Blizzard on pole.
Mhm.
Nolan, Thomas, second row, yep. Cohen and Zach, third row. Tim and Eltink, fourth row. Ash Max, fifth row. Cohen, Beal and Dijon in the sixth row. Mike and just seventh row. Yeah, I think he's got it right.
Yeah, it looks good. Thank God. Right. So I'm not sure why Skyzy thought he didn't do it then. That's very strange. But anyway, let's put all that behind us and focus on what we're all here for, which is racing. So we have 19 drivers to define the conclusion of this championship then. We've had 4 weeks of fantastic racing amongst all the drivers there. All 20 teams, thank you for putting up a great show, but ultimately only these 5 can dispute who comes home with all the glory. And yeah, we have just under an hour of racing ahead of us to decide who will be the champion of the League Racing Nations Championship.
I just want to put a little shout out as well for QVR for hosting this event, and for everyone who's taken a part, whether you didn't make the cut due at the beginning with the time trials or whether you were out in round 1, you were all a part of this, and it's been a fantastic event.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much to absolutely everyone. It's been a real joy to play my small part in commentating. I'm sure you will agree with that. So yeah. Anyway, it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Looks like finally we will get back to the good stuff here. Racing is about to commence. CRG Blizzard guides the field around to the starting grid. And here we go then. 29 laps of Albert Park. And Blizzard glides the Mercedes up to the front row with his teammate Lewis once again alongside him there. Can England make up the difference now with 4 drivers at their disposal? Let's see how it all unfolds. It's CRG Blizzard with Lewis Welsh alongside him. We prepare for the final race of the series there for 5 lights. We're away for the finale here at Albert Park, and Blizzard and Lewis get off the line pretty much as one there. Blizzard leads in the turn 1 there. Nolan is going to send it behind there. He's under attack from Thomas. They go wheel to wheel through turn 2, and Thomas now has to back out, and that's going to put LRNC round the outside of there. And that Williams, they're going to go wheel to wheel further down the field there as Enting battling away with Zach. Forces the Frenchman to the inside, and still side by side is Kuhn and Thomas. They're wheel to wheel going in a turn 5. They have to back out of it their last minute. And Enting now is going to look round the outside. No, it's shut off by Thomas there, who holds 5th place there in a chaotic opening sector. But that looks like it's going to be the end of the drama for now, or is it? Their Sack is looking left and right on the rear end of Elting, but ultimately sets her behind with Tim Venting all over the rear end of the Alfa Romeo as well. That's the start over then, and yeah, a lot of side-by-side racing. In fact, it's not over yet. There is Kuhnblai at Bjorn of opposing Dutch teams, and if Anez Kumblai is able to get ahead, it's Tim Bentek's off in the wall, out of turn 12, full front wing going. How important is that going to be in the grand scheme of things? Tim is off to the side of the road, and that is going to be hugely costly for the Dutch chances in this final race.
We got Thomas looking all over the back of Cohen, and Elding as well over the back of Thomas. Like these, they are swooping and swooping and looking for ways to get past, but down the inside goes Thomas into turn 1, and a little bit of contact made there, but they're still going to be side by side on the exit, on the run down into turn 3, and can Elting get involved as well? He's got to back out, but Thomas down the inside gets the move done, and Elting going to try and hang it around the outside, but has to back out. And Cohen able to keep P5, but does lose the position to Thomas.
Fast, frantic action in that midfield.
First lap for these guys.
Yeah, fast, frantic action in that midfield there, and as Thomas is able to get that move done, but he's already leaked about 2 seconds to the group ahead. At the moment, Blizzard holds a pretty comfortable lead over Lewis Welch. There were Nolan keeping those two Englishmen honest up at the front. We'll see if France, who were one of the higher scoring teams in that first round, if they're able to bring home the bacon there, as Lewis got a very poor run out of turn 12. That's going to put Nolan all over the rear wing of the Ferrari. Looks to the outside towards the braking zone of turn 13. Is squeezed onto the outer line by Lewis Welch. Tries to hang it round, and there's contact. They're both in the wall. Spinning round goes the Ferrari. Nolan's got wing damage, and Lewis dropping back greatly then. He's out of the race altogether now. In an incident down at turn 14, a huge crash down there.
Absolute carnage behind.
Cars absolutely everywhere.
As Nolan gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pits.
Wow, that is absolutely stunning there. Contact between Lewis Welch and Nolan, disputing P2, and it was ultimately Nolan that tried to go around the outside. Lewis wasn't having it. They both disputed that same piece of tarmac and both went spearing off into the wall on the outside there. Crazy stuff already on lap 2, and that is France and England that have been brutally just slapped back in this race, and that does leave Blizzard pretty comfortably out in front. I'm just looking to see who's picking up the points. I reckon France is having a decent time of it, but obviously not as good as it could have been. Like really, I can't tell you who's gonna win this. It's been blown absolutely wide open there. Cars absolutely everywhere in these first few laps then, and yeah, just completely crazy stuff then. And seeing two leading contenders come together on only the second lap, that has blown this whole championship wide open there, and we're only 3 laps into this last race.
Right now, I do think that Lithuania are in a good position, because just as we didn't actually mention this, but he has started on the hard compound tyres, Bugatti and Audi on the mediums, and just as is actually doing pretty decent to try and keep up with MLT, Lewis and Mike up ahead.
Yeah, of course. Also, Netherlands are very strongly represented in the top 10 as it stands, so they could be in the mix there. As further down the field, Dan and Justin Sass. So you mentioned Justin Sass, but he's losing out. Of course, he's on those hard tyres. Going to be difficult for him to live with the likes of XL Dan, who is on, of course, those much softer tyres there, as Bugatti as well on mediums. May have a look on the back of the Red Bull, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any move into turn 9 just for now. But he may try and dispossess him of that possession there. Further down the field there, these are two opposing Dutchmen going to battle, and as Tim Ventic was able to fend off QleenVigor Racing, who still sits tucked in underneath the rear wing of the Williams, runs a little bit wide to turn 5, and these guys, having pitted, they've got to try and make the most of their current position. I'm watching Bugatti down the inside, round the outside of Justin Sass, and ends up in the 10th place then, so he's able to get through for England and trying to get as many points as they can with Lewis out of contention. England need their other 3 drivers to be on top form if they want any chance of coming away with the win here.
Yep, and Nolan there, I just spotted picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's not helping himself out at all at the moment.
And I also saw Eltink, who's running at a good position, also pick up penalties. We saw him do that quite a lot down at Monza there, as Lordy is an ex-driver to challenge Justice Ass, and is an ex-driver to get through on Justice Ass and through up into 11th place. They're tracking Bugatti up the field then, the two Englishmen moving through in formation. Next up is XL Dan there as they try and hunt him down on the road at the moment. Still though, pretty close, few gaps emerging throughout the field there, but we've got a very tight battle over P3. That looks like one to watch there. LR fending off Zach and Eltink there, all representing different teams in this championship. So yeah, you're gonna see quite an interesting dynamic shaping up there, as Kuhn gonna be under a lot of pressure trying to hold off these two drivers, hunting him down then in that battle over P3. So can he hold on to that there, as yeah, we've got Eltink is actually closing down, has a little look at Zach, doesn't go for the move just yet, but these three all pretty much nose to tail on track. There's a lot of racing up ahead, I'm sure, from these three.
Yeah, there's also another bit of a battle going on with Max, Mike and Lewis for P6 right now. Bit of a DRS train from behind that battle between the battle for third place, as you were just mentioning, as it looks like Zach is going around the outside.
Gets forced off the track though by Larkin, and then almost into the path of Eltink there. That could have gone a bit nasty down there, but the Frenchman is able to hold that fourth place there. Eltink is all over him there, looking for a way around, but ultimately is not able to quite find it. But he is sitting right in contention with these two there, and that trio still running 3, 4, 5 on the road at the moment. So very, very tight racing as Eltink gets massively out of shape out of turn 10, but is able to keep the car together. Emmett Lewis as well chasing down Mike just in front of him. They're very close on the road. We've got yellows in sector 1. I think that's just a sass. So he's made a mistake coming out the pits, I think it is. He must have picked up damage or something, because he's went in very early from those hards. And you mentioned how good a position is in, but how much of a setback is that going to be? He now runs complete dead last of the car still in this race. And looking for the road, I saw Lewis had a little go at trying to get past Mike, but it was unable to quite get through. Still hunting him down though on the road. But yeah, just a sass coming into the pits extremely early. And yeah, that's going to be huge for Lithuania. They get knocked back quite substantially, and how much of an impact is that going to have on the point standings at the end then? Justice Ass dropping back greatly in this opening stint. Yeah,
3 of the Lithuanian team outside the top 10 right now, and that's going to be disastrous moving forward, as Bugatti looking down the inside of Dan into turn 3, the mediums versus the soft compound tyre, and swooping around the outside, Bugatti up into 7th.
So yeah, so I mentioned he's making good progress for England there. You mentioned he's no slouch, and he's proving that they are making progress on the mediums that will beginning to come into their own in terms of the tyre performance then. And yeah, looking pretty strong there, up in his 7th now, trying to make ground, move through the field and make as much of an inroad as he can then. So he moves 7th there. His teammate Lordy is also trying to go with him there, but is a little bit off the back at the moment. Blizzard once again has a commanding lead up at the front, and he's doing all he can for England, but with the slight lack of support that he's got overall, how much is his challenge going to mean, you know, in his dominant driving that he's putting on? England may walk away with 2 race wins, but ultimately may not be the overall championship for them in terms of the points.
Well, right now I think the team in the position right now to take this championship is France.
France, yeah. Because they had Max who's just pitted. He was running up the front, and they have Zach and Lewis both in the top 4. So I think you might be right. France having a very strong start then, and also Nolan who's coming to the pit. So all of their drivers have a claim to get some strong positions. And yeah, I think you're right. France may be on for this. They were a surprise package and even getting to this final, but they may come away with the overall win here with how well this final's gone for them thus far.
Yeah, right now France are looking in a fantastic spot, and as Bugatti picks up a 3-second time penalty, that's not going to help out England's chances. But if I know Bugatti, Blizzard and Lodi, they are not going to take this line down. They're going to push like mad.
There'll be there'll be absolutely no relent from those three indeed trying to make the most of it, and it's Blizzard who is really showing his true colours. They're well out in front in this race. They're looking very, very strong. Comes into the pits for his hopefully only pit stop there. Fits the hard tyres and will get going there. Eltink picks up a penalty, and that's with two of those Frenchmen behind him there. That puts him, under real threat. And again, that you look at the French just gaining positions and running quite a strong team. They have the pace to stay up in those positions that they've won. I think you might be right. I think you may be looking at France potentially running away with this one, as Lithuania have had a scrappy start. They were the only team that outscored France in that first round. So the French may, when it's all said and done, walk away with a championship there. We're just going to have to wait and see, though, how it's all going to end up, because really, it's anyone's game. But yeah, France, at the moment, looking extremely strong here.
Interesting now, we got Nolan, Max and Lewis, line astern, 9th, 10th and 11th. And they've all made their pit stop and presumably going straight to the end.
Yeah, so what this means is that they're looking to gain places, and also Zach is running very solidly up at the front, as Lewis does pick up a penalty though. Again, you got to be careful, you can't afford to make mistakes, and still France could be under pressure if their drivers are throwing away, but still they have a chance of getting all 4 drivers inside the top 10, which in the context of so far, that's huge for them, and it could be a potential winner for them, as Thomas picking up a penalty there. Another blow to Lithuania.
Yep, Thomas with that 5-second time penalty. That's not going to help his causes. And Nolan, as we know, does have that 5-second penalty. He done the exact same thing. He is going to have to push like a madman to build that gap, and I think Max and Lewis being behind him will only help him with that.
Yeah, if he's able to just maneuver that through there with a pretty good buffer to the guy that could be challenging him for that position, which could be Mike there, who sits in the DRS at the moment of the 2 Frenchmen up in front of him. As it now Nolan on that charge, now on the back of Eltink, and looking to try and dispossess that Renault of that 8th place on the road. We've still got quite a few drivers yet to pit. Lordy's going to have to come in. Dan and Bugatti are probably all within range of that French trio, but I'm seeing someone's gone off there at the end of the first sector. I'm not sure exactly who. That may have been LRNC actually, because all of a sudden they've all kind of reeled him in, and now he's coming under pressure there. Eltink may have a run towards turn 11 and 12, but hangs back, saving his ERS for the time being. And he's got that stopped, I think. Yeah, he is up in a 3rd place. So good move from Blizzard then. This is very tight out on track at the moment there. Eltink looking at Kuhn, maybe trying to get the move done there. Defends the inside line, moves back slightly in the braking zone, and is forced a little bit wide. So now Eltink trying to get at him, but doesn't go for the move just yet there. And Nolan eagerly in behind. We have a number of pit stops as well from several drivers there. Yellows in sector 3. I'm not sure who exactly has gone off there.
It's Freaky.
Oh, Flaky's gotten off there, so yeah, that's Lithuania once again, as now Eltink and Kuhn are side by side in the main straight, and Eltink has the inside line and the place. Can Nolan follow through behind with DRS there? He runs wide though through turn 2, almost going out of it there, but is able to keep it together. Kuhn is to the outside, and a dive from Nolan down the inside and up into 7th place. It's the switchback coming through. No, the silver steer for the Dutchman, as now Eltink is holding them both up greatly through turn 4 and 5 there. Nolan had to lift off, holds the place, as Lewis I think had to fend off an attack from Mike then. He now runs at 10th as it's all kicking off now out on track. But yeah, it's a move from Nolan on Kuhn, and now he's got Eltink right in front of him, and he can gain another place and he begin to establish himself, really showing great pace at the moment as Bugatti's let Blizzard through up at the front. But Nolan looking to grab that 6th place on the road and of course make up as much time as he can with that penalty, and yeah, potentially put France in an even stronger position and maybe leading them to a championship here.
Yeah, such a optimistic move there from Nolan, taking advantage of the situation around him, and it worked out fantastic for him. Position gained on Cohen, and now he's all over the back of that Renault and looking hungry to get P6 off him.
Can he dispossess him of that 6th place though on this main straight? Doesn't look like it's going to come just yet. And Thomas as well is chasing down Lordy. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 3, but ultimately is not able to get the Ferrari. Maybe on the switchback is outside of turn 4. No! Nolan is now down the inside of Eltic and maybe has 6th place. He does have 6th place now. Confirms it. Gets through. He ups to 6th and now he's going to make up that time. Eltic's still right on the back of him there. Hovering over that rear wing, trying to get a move done. Thomas as well, chasing down Lordy. Maybe a move going into turn 9. He looks to that inside, feints the move. No, not on the brakes just yet, but he's right up behind him in much better traction than the Ferrari. Has the slipstream of the Ferrari. He may pass the Ferrari very soon there towards turn 11, but he's going to have to sit in behind. Right now, follows to this high-speed corner. Difficult to follow, but he's right up behind him. And now he's going to pull to the outside towards turn 13. He may have his nose in front before the corner. Yes, Thomas up to P3. And now he's going to make as much progress as he can because he has that penalty. And now he's got to try and absolutely fly and maybe locked in 2nd place and keep Lithuania's hopes alive in this final race.
Yeah, and I think that was some great defensive work there from Lordy, because that gap between Bugatti and Thomas wasn't over 6 seconds, and it went up to 6.5 seconds. So great job there as Lordy picks up a 3-second time penalty. But Lordy helping out Bugatti there, who's on the alternative strategy. Same with Lordy, but Bugatti in a decent position now to come back later on in the race.
Something in Kunz though disputing that 7th place there. They've watched Nolan be able to cruise up the road, and he is showing absolutely fantastic pace for a guy on older tyres. He's really on it and beginning to move away, and he could potentially be standing on the podium there, helping along his French team to a potential championship. Of course, the results will only be provisional, as there comes Eltic now. He's looking to the inside of LRNC. No, does not get the move done. Is going to have to try and probe, get that move later there. Now we've got Zach. He is on the back of Lordy as Thomas picks up another penalty. But Zach is looking, maybe trying to get that move done there, trying to move through, but no, he's not quite there. So now Eltic's round coming off turn 12. Rounds in the wall. I don't think he's got damage, but that's huge. I mean, he's gone out of the session completely. So I think he's left the session in an outburst, and that just completely thwarts the Dutch chances in this final. And I think at the moment, again, it's looking increasingly likely that France could come away with the title here.
Especially since Zach, DRS wide open, just swoops past Lordy for 4th place, and now mediums versus hards. I know what my money's on.
Yep, I fully agree with you. And of course, Thomas has a multitude of penalties as well. They have to deal with a 5-second stop and go, and of course a 3-second penalty that he's picked up very recently. So Zach looking to get onto that podium, and of course we've got Bugatti's yet to pit. So Zach getting P2 only to Blizzard. I think this means France, with all of their drivers well inside the top 10, I think, yeah, I can't see anyone beating them at this stage. They're in a real power position here.
The one thing that might be a little bit of a concern, Nolan does have 11 seconds at the moment, including that 5-second time penalty that he picked up in the pits.
Yeah, good point.
That could be a bit costly towards the end of the race, but if he's able to pull the gap now and keep building it, Cohen, Max, Lewis and Mike behind, he might be decent to try and bring home some good points for France.
Indeed he may, and there's a really close battle there, a bit of a trade belly up with M&T Lewis there. Ash Best is on very old mediums. He probably won't take those to the end of the race, but he's still going to try and make the most of it there as he hunts down NLR Mike, chasing it down, but of course the DRS is active for that Haas, so he's able to maintain the position there, but now an overtake mode. He's going to try and get back. Ash Best tucked up underneath the rear wing. It's aggressive defence from Mike, so round the outside it's going to have to be there. Ash Best gets well alongside him, but forced wide. Is unable to go round the outside of turn 3. We've seen so many drivers go for that move, and none of them have quite been successful. Ash Best has to send it behind, And of course Lewis doing a good defensive job there, making a good gap for Max up ahead of him as he still chases down LR just up the road there. So France maybe not completely secure. They've got to be careful. Of course, we know Lithuania had a very good first round. There's a car that's going slowly in that second sector. I'm trying to pick up... Flaky. I think is he letting cars through, I believe. Yeah. So it's been a fairly disappointing race for him. And that's, you know, the run that he's had. I think he's actually back Lithuania from achieving better things here. Looks to be bringing home good points as Nolan and Lordy were disputing that 5th place there. Lordy had to give it up there, so Nolan goes up in a 5th place there, and of course is trying to make as much of a gap as he possibly can to make up for the multitude of penalties that he has, and he may still be in with a shout of getting a good result as Ash Best is coming to the pits. So a bit of a mess ahead on track there, a lot of different strategies all coming together. We'll see how it all unfolds as the field begins to separate itself. It's Blizzard and Bugatti currently in England 1-2, but we know Bugatti's still got to pit, and England's chances rest, well, they're very highly reliant on his ability to come through the field after his pit stop and do as much damage as he can later in the race.
It's looking highly likely that Bugatti and Lodi will be switching over to the soft compound tyres at the end, and they are going to be absolutely rapid compared to those worn hards ahead of them.
Yeah, completely.
But don't count England out just yet. They could still be within a chance, especially with the amount of penalties that Nolan has, and we know Thomas has a few as well.
Well, Bugatti has made very good progress, it must be said, in particular, starting on those mediums, still in P2. It means that he may be in with a shot. It's looking further down there. It's Kuhn and Lordy. They're going at it there. Lordy tries to hang it down the inside. Kuhn gets a little bit out of shape on the brakes, so Lordy may still fancy his chances of maybe getting past the Dutchman there. But DRS is active, and I think that the Williams will hold on to that 6th place. They're trying to stay within range of Nolan, and at the moment he's doing so. He's got fresher tyres. He's looking good to get that position, but I don't think he's quite going to be in range of Zach, who at the meantime is hunting down LRT Thomas. They run 3rd and 4th on a row, and then Zach may try and get through up into the podium places, and what will in fact turn into P2 eventually, and I think he will stay there barring any mistakes. So Zach, you know, the kind of speed that he's showing at the moment, it may just be enough, and he could be finding himself in P2, which could be that's going to be a huge boost to France's chances.
Yep, not just that, we got Max now all over the back of Lodi, and the gap between Cohen and Max has definitely come down quite a lot with that battle that Cohen had with Lodi on the previous lap, and now with DRS wide open. Can the Frenchman get past the English lad by DRS wide open? He's going to pull to the outside. Lodi, very late move to the outside. Little bit of contact there, bit of wheel banging, and oof, both were lucky to keep that going in a straight line there.
Lewis and Mike had a little work at trying to get past the Frenchman, but Lewis covers him off and holds that 9th place for the moment. I don't think Max is going to be happy with Lordy's defence, so he's going to have to try and sit back. Goes for another move, and this time he's able to find the inside line. It's squeezed towards the pit wall by the Englishman, but Max will slot back in the front and up into 7th place there. He's going to try and move away now out on track. Now Thomas and Zach have both closed up to the back of Bugatti, who is still out there. Is going to be coming to the pits very shortly, I imagine, but you know, he will be getting in the way a little bit, being maybe a bit of a roadblock for the 2 cars behind that need to try and find their way past as quickly as possible. If Thomas is able to get past before Zach, it could keep him in front on track for a little bit while longer, because he has that buffer, a little bit of a car between them there. Bugatti waving about the track just a little bit. It's going to cover off Thomas into turn 11. Zach is well and truly right there with him there, but Thomas is going to strike, I think, very soon. Goes around the outside of the Mercedes. Can he get through there? Zach also looks around the outside of Bugatti. Can he go all the way around there at turn 13? They come together almost. Zach has to get out of it, otherwise it would have ended disastrously for him. He had to back out of that manoeuvre, and Bugatti holds 3rd place unless there's a pit stop on this lap, and indeed there is. So that frees up Zach to go hunting after Thomas. They're promoted to P2 and 3 it was a harsh defence from Bugatti, and he's going to slip back there, and we're going to keep an eye on where he emerges and what progress he can make in this final stint.
Yeah, I think that weaving from Bugatti on the run down at turn 11 was to let him know that he's coming into the pits at the end of this lap.
Well, yeah, that's one way of looking at things. I'm not sure if I saw that, but yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, looking at a little bit battle further down the field, it's just as Ass is chasing down teammates Bjorn and Tim Venting there. They run just outside the top 10 actually, and within the points, so they're trying to bring home as many points as they can. But of course, the Dutch teams ultimately, do they have a chance? That's what I'm thinking. Is LR picks up a penalty, and he can't afford to do that when he's trying to stay with Nolan, who is running at such a blistering pace on older tyres. He has been the whole way through, so Nolan may still be able to grab 4th place, or at least not lose out too much in terms of the points. But yeah, it'd be a good recovery drive given the incident they had with Lewis Welsh. He's done well to be running in 4th place on track, and not too far behind the podium places either.
He's been absolutely flying since he chucked on those hards. But the question is, at what point is he going to reach the cliff for those hards? Because he's going to have to take them all the way to the end.
Yeah, that tyre deficit is going to be having more and more of an effect as this race evolves, as it goes on. So we'll see if he's able to keep eking out that gap as he's doing at the moment there. Again, just quite absolutely phenomenal pace, and he's got quite a lot of ERS as well that he can use later on. So that's one positive as well that he has going for him there. I'm watching further behind there as Lewis' stern defence of 7th place continues, with NLR Mike trying to spoil the party as he closes him down. Better weaving from Lewis there. Is it going to be moved on the inside there? He has a look, but no, it's half-hearted, does not go for it. And look at where Bugatti is. He's all over him already, and now he's got the grip to try and make the most of it there. He is forcing Mike, pushing him through turn 5 and now through turn 6 there. Looks towards the outside on the brakes, is covered off by the Dutchman there, who runs wide, and now on the exit Bugatti, look at the grip he has. He slips on the inside of turn 8 and is immediately up into 8th place. Do not discount his charge. Absolutely flying as Bugatti there. Does Lewis have any defence against it there towards turn 11, down the inside, and that's going to be 2 overtakes maybe in just a couple of corners there. He's got the inside to turn 11 and he's through. Bugatti up into 7th there. Phenomenal progress, and he continues to move through in phenomenal fashion. He's got a lot of ground to make up, but if he can keep this going for England, who knows? Just don't quite count them out just yet, because Bugatti is on a charge.
Yep, and his fellow compatriot Lodi in DRS of Ash, and Ash is not too far from Just As, and that little pack for 11th right now. And this could get pretty tasty for P11 with this 5-way scrap that will be going on.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on that one. There's a penalty for Bugatti there. That's going to be a setback, because we know how close this field is still after 20.5 laps of racing. So, of course, it can really, the tiniest margins will make the biggest differences in the final few laps of this event. But it's certainly looking very, very good for France. They have 4 drivers inside the top 8. That is completely dominant. And yeah, ultimately, I think that it may just be it, you know. That sort of consistent performance throughout the top 10. No mistakes really from their drivers, besides that altercation between Nolan and Lewis, which ultimately Nolan was able to come out better from. And now he's beginning to pull away from LR. He's almost got, I think it's an 8-second gap that he needs, and it's 7.8 seconds. So he's almost there, continuing to eke it out. So ultimately, we could be looking, and with Max's position, we could have 3 French drivers inside the top 5, which I think is a bit of a dagger in the heart there. That seems pretty final at that point there.
Who would have thought France 2, France's second team, all the way here where the first team fell very early on in the competition, but the second France team has really stepped up, picked up the ball and have absolutely ran with it.
Yeah, because like I believe they got through, if I'm not mistaken, they got into this final as a best thirds team. I'm pretty sure that the automatic qualifiers from that group were England. Oh, sorry, not England. No, I think God, I've got
Netherlands and
confused.
Lithuania.
Netherlands and Lithuania, that's it. Yep. So yeah, so France, yeah, they got through as the best third team, and they've taken this to absolutely run through this final tonight. And I know it's not over yet. There's still a lot of racing ahead of us, but it's looking very, very good for them. They were already almost first after the first round, and I think with this, it is looking ever so likely that they could walk away with the title from the LRNC. So, but still, there'll be others out there to try and spoil the party, and that's going to be Lewis and Mike, who run lane astern on the track there. Mike has been all over the rear end of the Alfa Romeo, but has ultimately not quite found a way through just yet. Further down the field, Ash Best and Tim Venting are side by side through turn 14, and it's Tim who has to yield that position to the charging Lithuanian, who moves up into 12th place. They're trying to salvage points for Lithuania, who led after the first round, but it may not be enough for them. Mike is chasing down Lewis towards turn 3. This time he's going down the inside, and this time is committed. Does he have to move this time? He's going to go round the outside of turn 4 then. Wheel to wheel with Lewis. Can he get alongside? No, gets forced off the track by the Frenchman and has to yield again. Lewis defending for all his worth and still 8th place. Further down the road, it's Lord and Tim. They come together. Tim forces him off the track, and the Ferrari goes off, losing out in his attempt at trying to get through, and that's England. Another setback for their team, and despite Blizzard's run at the front, I don't think it's going to be enough for them. They need more people to be up at the front, but because Lordy is having a tough time of it and Lewis out the race, England doesn't look like they're doing enough to come home with the championship here.
Yeah, and it looks like Bugatti right now is not really closing in on Max up ahead. Looks like he's just stabilised.
Ash Best getting through on Bjorn, who must have made a mistake there. So Ash is up into P11, but I think that's going to be as far as he'll go. It's 8 seconds behind Excel Dan in 10th place. So keep an eye on this. Zach is still pressuring Thomas. Thomas is doing well to hold him off, but with the amount of penalties that he's picked up, I do think that Zach will look to win back that second place, and ultimately he should be able to move through. And yeah, with the second place, Nolan potentially looking at P4 as it stands. Max up there as well, and Lewis as well, right in the mix, and inside the top 10. At this point, you can't really look past them. And
I mean, I just spotted at the bottom, then Nolan picked up another 3-second time penalty.
oh,
To my knowledge now, he's on 9 seconds of 3-second penalties plus his 5-second stop-go pen, which could really drop him down the order.
yeah, I'm getting quite a bit of audio issues myself now, so yeah, I couldn't really hear what you were saying, but it was yeah, but Nolan does have another penalty. We have a, I think that's just let, maybe Kuhn actually, that's let a Blizzard through up in the front there. Yeah, the second Netherlands team, or sorry, the first Netherlands team has not had a good time of it in this final race, and you know, just because obviously they had Fruitful that wasn't going to be able to get back in. Dan is leading the way for them, and ultimately, yeah, down in 10th place. It's not looking good in the slightest for them, so I think that they're going to have to settle for that. Further down the field, that's one Netherlands member is lost out to Lordy as well, who finally is able to get that move done. So Tim Venting drops back as we're in the dying laps now. Yeah, and there's a penalty for Kuhn, so that again levels the playing field, and Nolan made advantage in that battle for 4th now.
To be honest, I think Max is in a net P4 right now.
Yeah, I think you might be right actually. Does Max have any penalties? I'm not sure.
I can't recall seeing any pop up for him.
In that case, then yeah, but you know that means that France could be 2, 4, and 5, which is yeah, very powerful for them. So yeah, it's looking very, very soft for them. Bugatti's charge it's faded completely. I think the softs didn't quite have the durability the last three. He must have overcooked them quite early on. We saw the pace that he was showing at first, but now since then he's actually dropped back from Max and did not really pulled away much from Lewis either. So I think that he's the soft tires just haven't quite worked in this final stint, and despite the potential that he's showing, ultimately looks like he's just going to come up short here.
Yeah, and also what this means, it means that Lewis is still within penalty shot of Bugatti, because I've definitely seen 2 penalties come up for him, so we could be looking at France, all 4 drivers in the top 7.
Yeah, that seems that I think my audio was cutting out. That seems quite conclusive, to be honest. I think despite any sort of stewards inquiries that might be against them, I don't think it's going to hold them back so much, as they've only got yellows in sector 1. That's Ash Best has gone off and has dropped down. Bjorn has healed that place. So yeah, it's not been a good day. Well, it's been a decent first round for Lithuania, but ultimately the second round I think lost them overall versus France. So I think France, with just 3 laps to go in this final race, it's looking good. So now, with just 2.5 laps to go, Blizzard has well and truly ran away with this race, and it's been a thoroughly impressive showing from the Englishman. But I don't think it's going to mean for much overall. He's cruised clear though. Ash Best and Bjorn are going to go side by side again. Through it, is able to get through. Bjorn on his rear wing, looks to the inside, goes down the inside on the bricks, but no, doesn't quite get through and has to stand behind. The Lithuanian has to sit back, but I think we're quite clearly nearing the conclusion of this event now. Blizzard over the line, he's built up a gap. For a win.
Well, I think Zach is happy just to stick behind in the DRS of Thomas right now, knowing that he's definitely got that P2 locked up. And Nolan actually still extending that gap to Cohen in 5th. And Max all over the back of Cohen now for 5th, so this is going to be a big battle now for P5. The closing stages of this race, and Lewis closing back in on Bugatti.
Yeah,
and keep an eye out on if Bugatti's tyres have really hit the cliff on the final lap.
Well, I think that means that Lewis is going to be within his range now, almost certainly, with penalties. So yeah, he's looking very good to get that 7th place there. Kuhn doing everything he can to keep LRT Max behind, but I don't think it's going to be for much then. Looks like he's going to hold on to that 5th place. As yet, I think Nolan just about has enough of an edge over the 5th place, the Dutchman, that he will keep 4th overall on the road, and it looks good for him. But yeah, Blizzard now onto the final lap. It has been, and there's Bugatti yet another penalty. I think that's a bit of a dagger in the heart for the Englishman. England, they came in here as the favourites, but despite Blizzard seemingly winning both the races, it's not going to be enough just because of the lack of consistency throughout the field for them. It's been a major downfall for them, and it looks like with just less than a lap to go in this final race, there's nothing they can really do to salvage their chances.
I think the big disappointment is that Lewis DNF'ing in both races. I mean, you rarely see Lewis DNF, but the DNF twice 2 races in a row is still a shock.
Of course, the first one he couldn't really do much about, and yeah, after that. The second one, we saw that incident with Nolan earlier on in the race. Has had a good recovery. He's actually made a mistake and may still be able to grab that position off him, which I think will demote Nolan to 6th overall, with Max sitting on the back of it. But yeah, Blizzard is round the final corner. There's nothing to complain about his performance. He's driven absolutely flawlessly tonight, but it's not going to be enough for his team, unfortunately. Thomas will fend off Zach on the road, but I don't think it's going to be enough overall then, with Thomas having quite an influx of penalties. I think you'll see him give up that second place, and yeah, over the line. Zach does get second. Nolan has actually lost a substantial amount of time on this final lap there, has made his mistakes, and that means, and also that 5-second penalty. I think Kuhn's going to jump him, but it won't be by much. It'll be by less than a second, I presume. And no, actually had penalties himself, and Max gets P4. Yep. As Bugatti comes over the line ahead of Lewis, is already weaving. I think that they know in their hearts that is all over. France, with 4 drivers inside the top 10, dominating this final race, and with the standings so close after the first race, I think that means that we can say it with confidence. That is going to be it then. France are going to be your champions for the first edition of the LRNC without any countback. Yeah, I think you can safely say France are going to win it.
Yeah, France absolutely fantastic in this second race, and the first race just left everything so close. Any mistake could have destroyed the chances, and we saw it. It destroyed England's chances, Lithuania's chances, and France able to pick up the pieces and absolutely smash it in this final race.
Yeah, dominant stuff there. Of course, Blizzard won the day as a driver, but of course it's a team event, and ultimately it is France that were able to prevail, and you can see that's the dominant display as a team. They had 2 drivers that didn't finish the first race. It set them back greatly, but ultimately it hasn't quite mattered for them. They're just complete and utter display in this final race has proved to be good for them to run away with things, and yeah, it looks like they will secure the championship. So yeah, I just first and foremost want to say sorry for all the technical issues we've had to put up with. Hopefully you've enjoyed the stream and the races nevertheless. We'll not keep you going for too long. We'll keep you occupied. We'll let you get back to your other pursuits in everyday life. Stay at home, stay safe, and yeah, we can prevent the spread of this terrible pandemic. But anyway, without further ado, I've been Deca, he's been Mike, and until next time, we'll see you later.